Hello, welcome to our channel by Angie. Hosted by Club Blue. Co-hosted by the rest of you. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you don't, we understand. Don't let the books fool you, baby, because it's that true talk. So let's get one. Okay, I hit the wrong button. I didn't mean to play that. Yeah, I'm goofy. Mm-mm. Oh my. Y'all, now you know what? I ain't even planning to be on here. But I'm still um subscribed to like those news channels in Wisconsin, right? I was minding my own damn business. And I saw that damn fool, Darrell Brooks. Honey, I hit Mo and said, baby, he's back. Oh, baby, he's back. He's back to terrorize us again. To have us wondering, Lord, what we went wrong in our life. Hold on, I blow my nose. Sorry about that. Yes, honey. I was sitting up here. You know how you be logged in and something trickled down my goddamn timeline. Because again, like I told you, I'm still subscribed to those news stations from Wisconsin. I saw that food and went to court. So this would be right in time for his some more of his post conviction relief, right? Maybe this is a habeas corpus, right? Maybe we get to watch that since we are anticipating a habeas in Mr. Kelly's case. And I told you the habeas will go back um, to the trial court, or depending on whatever, they can appeal it to the Supreme Court, right? Not appeal it, I'm sorry, submit a petition to the Supreme Court. So I don't know what this is. I saw that, and I also saw this little girl. And again, I'm trying to like spotlight some of these cases dealing with children, right? Yeah, I don't know anything about this case. Just thought it would be interesting when I saw some of the footage, you know, cam footage, right? Mm. So I'm not trying to pull enough links to see if we get a little context of, with regards to the story. So, um, I should have went and I don't know why every time I get on this live, I get hungry. Babe, when I tell you I'm getting all that goddamn weight back and then some, I'm eating everything ain't nailed down. I don't care. I'll take it back off. But when I saw that food, I saw this gonna be good. I don't know what's going on, but this gonna be good. Again, let me see what we got over here. Okay, what up? Twitter, what's up? YouTube, and what up? Twitch. So I'm going to. So let me go ahead and get this on the roll. I don't know why I get so goddamn hungry. Wow. Not, I don't know. Anyway, so we already have girl. I don't know why this lady keep coming to work when she see him. I know she the one schedules, her docket, but I don't know why she coming to work when she see this fool on her in her paperwork. I don't even know. I will call in. I will call out, and I guarantee you, the people will understand. My colleagues, they will understand that this is a damn fool we dealing with. Yeah, this is a damn fool that we're dealing with. Give me a second. Make sure everything is all Gucci. Oh, damn thing ain't open. I'll literally call. I'll call out. I don't want help.
Are you able to also see your?
I'm steady talking. I'm on mute. This is probably. I don't know, but I don't know. This some crazy shit. I don't know what he want this time, so we can go see. We play it.
Are you able to also see your attorney through the Zoom?
What was that?
Are you also to see your? Are you also able to see your attorney on Zoom? All right, and that's a yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can you answer verbally, please?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And any objection to appearing remotely today, sir?
No.
And has the state complied with victim rights?
Yes.
As everyone is aware, the court is live streaming through the daycast function of Zoom that CCAP has made available for circuit courts in Wisconsin. And we've been able to verify it is up and running. If at any point in time anyone gets word that it is not, please let me know. We are here today to address a motion to withdraw that was filed by Attorney Covey. I do want to ask you a number of questions. The first question is it your understanding that Mr. Brooks would still like you to pursue this motion?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And Mr. Brooks, could you also confirm that for me that you are seeking Attorney Covey to be relieved as your attorney of record for your appeal?
Yes.
For purposes of today's hearing, District Attorney Basie, do you agree or is there any dispute that Mr. Brooks is indigent?
I have no information to say otherwise.
All right. And do you have any dispute that we are concerned with Mr. Brooks's direct appeal rights at this point?
No concerns.
All right. Do you agree with those two issues, Attorney Covey?
Yes, Judge.
All right.
He's absolutely indigent.
He's in custody. He's serving consecutive life sentences. He's indigent, and initially, even when he was the accused, was eligible for public defender representation. And do you have any information, Attorney Covey, that would suggest otherwise?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you. Then let me start with some questions. What I intend to do is I want to make a record of a number of things related to the inquiry that this court must make under the law. I think it's important to start with directing the questions to counsel, because as of right now, you do represent Mr. Brooks, and then I intend to address some questions to Mr. Brooks as well. Attorney Covey, have you received and have you reviewed the February 26, 2025 letter from the State Public Defender's Office?
Yes, I have.
Were you aware or have any knowledge of whether that letter was received by Mr. Brooks?
It's my belief that it was sent to Mr. Brooks and that he has received it. I haven't confirmed that with him personally, though.
All right, I intend to do that in short order. Is it true, Attorney Colby, that you were appointed for the purposes of investigating and pursuing potentially an appeal for Mr. Brooks on January 6th of 2023?
Yes, Judge, I was appointed for post-conviction and/or appellate relief.
Thank you. And what have you reviewed in your work on this case thus far?
Judge, I have spent probably hundreds of hours. I know this past summer, the vast majority of the summer, my free time was spent reviewing this case, including all of the transcripts, the entire court record, the vast majority of the discovery. I'll make a record of that. There's certainly, when we get provided with lots of audio, video evidence, not all of it is directly relevant to the offense. If, for example, if there's a squad video that's just pointing against the wall, I'm not going to spend hours reviewing that. But the key evidence, the interviews, the court exhibits, I definitely reviewed all of that discovery as well. We have about 5 banker's boxes of materials that I have gone through, including the prior attorney's notes before Mr. Brooks went pro se.
Have you met with Mr. Brooks either in person, by phone, or in any other way?
Judge, I have, and of course I can't talk about the substance of that, but I have met with them in person several times, plus numerous phone conferences as well. I haven't counted, but a large number of contacts.
Have you had written communication with him as well?
Judge, I'll write him letters. Mr. Brooks and I would generally communicate via the telephone, mostly telephone and in person.
Have you sought a number of extensions from the Court of Appeals related to the timing of filing any post-conviction motion or direct appeal?
Judge, I have basically 2 groups of extensions, if I may explain. The file is huge. And so it definitely took me longer than normal to review the contents of this case. And so the first few extensions were just to get me through the summertime where I was able to review all those banker's boxes of materials. The second set of extensions were filed so that Mr. Brooks, after him and I had fully consulted each other, would have time to decide how to proceed. I know one of my more recent extensions was to give Mr. Brooks the opportunity to try to hire a different attorney if his family was able to do so. That's part of the public record, of course. So those are the 2 groups of extensions that I filed over the course of the last year and a half.
Do you know how many?
The most recent extension was the 7th motion to extend time. That was to give, I'm sorry, my apologies.
The record shows
8.
that on
I think there was
February
8.
14th, the 8th motion to extend was filed with the Court of Appeals. Would that seem accurate?
Yeah, I misspoke. It's the eighth motion to give Mr. Brooks time to litigate his case. In the event that I withdraw, he'd have a couple of extra months to review the file and to do his own research.
Again, I understand that you can't discuss confidential communications with Mr. Brooks as his attorney, but generally speaking, have you identified issues to pursue on appeal?
Judge, I can say this. There were several very specific issues that I spent an enormous amount of time researching for appeal as to whether or not they were viable post-conviction or appellate issues. I'm not able to say without breaking privilege.
Have you sent Mr. Brooks any drafts of pleadings related to any appellate or post-conviction issues?
Judge, since I haven't filed an actual appellate brief, we haven't done the notice of intent to appeal, nor an actual post-conviction motion, there wouldn't be any pleadings for me to send him. So we're at the point, if I may, give a little bit more elaboration. Usually it's a two-step process for post-conviction relief. The first part's actually the longest. It's assembling the court materials. I know the court reporter worked exceptionally hard to get me those materials, but that took a few months. Going through those materials, identifying issues that could provide post-conviction relief. In some instances, there are no grounds for post-conviction relief, and then there's a different set of options that I would go through with the client. So after going through all of those steps, I did have multiple contacts with Mr. Brooks, both in person and over the telephone, for him to decide how he wants to proceed. I'm not able, even if hypothetically I found 5 amazing viable grounds for post-conviction relief or appeal, I wouldn't be able to submit any post-conviction motion or notice of appeal without the consent of Mr. Brooks. If I found no grounds for post-conviction relief, then again, Mr. Brooks would have a set of options that I would have to go over with him. And I can say that we have gone through that process, and he has requested to proceed pro se, which would prohibit me from filing any further pleadings in this matter. I hope that clarifies the issue.
Well, it helps because my responsibilities ultimately when discussing with Mr. Brooks is to talk about the options. One option could be a no merit situation. So I generally just want to know if all options have been discussed with him at this point.
Absolutely, Judge. That I can say 100% certainty, and multiple times.
Is it your understanding that Mr. Brooks wants to proceed pro se or on his own, or as he sometimes referred to it as in pro person, I think was the phrase he used with some frequency?
Judge, he does want to represent himself moving forward.
Have you discussed with Mr. Brooks your background as an attorney and doing appellate work?
Judge, I don't, it's such it's a innocuous question. There's no issue with me answering it, but I'm afraid that if I were to go into any discussions.
Let me ask it this way.
Yeah.
So I would like Mr. Brooks, and I'd like, actually, let me state it this way. I would like the record to reflect your experience for purposes of my decision here today. So I'll just ask you some general questions. They would not in any way violate any type of attorney-client privilege. First of all, are you a licensed attorney in the state of Wisconsin?
I hope so. Also, I'm in a lot of trouble today. Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been so licensed?
Approximately 20 years, actually 22 years, I believe.
Do you hold licenses in any other states or have permission to appear in any other courts outside the circuit courts, appellate courts, and Supreme Court in the state of Wisconsin?
Judge, I did take and pass the Illinois State Bar, and I was part of that community for a few years. I let that lapse because I solely practiced in Wisconsin.
What about federal courts?
Judge, I was trained to do some federal courts, and I was actually accepted to be an attorney in the Western District. Then COVID struck, and the caseload for the states became so extreme for lack of public defender appointments that I never ended up practicing in federal courts.
Do you have any area that you focus on in your practice?
Judge, I focus mostly on homicides and sexual assaults, if I may. The state public defender's office, let me backtrack. I'm not a public defender. I'm a full-time criminal defense attorney. For most of the last 20 years, I had my own practice. Recently, I joined Corey Chirapisi for his law firm, CHIRAFISI. For most of the last 10 years or so, I've been practicing mostly homicides, class A, B, and C felonies.
Give me 1 second. Mr.
Sure.
Brooks, would you please direct the camera up? Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Judge, the State Public Defender's Office has certifications to take certain levels of felonies. The highest level of certification is Class A felony, and I'm certified to do those in both the appellate and the trial court level. Approximately 20% of my work is with appellate work. I'm in trial more often as with the circuit courts.
In your litigation practice, both in the circuit courts and appellate courts, that's both through appointments and individuals who would privately retain you?
Absolutely. I have the highest level of certifications the Public Defender's Office can give.
Thank you. Have you had any general discussions with Mr. Brooks related to appellate rules and procedures, whether it be formatting, initial briefs, what response briefs are, the requirement for reply briefs, or even the difference between that and a post-conviction motion?
Judge, let me just say this again. I've certainly had lots of conversation with I've spent hours with Mr. Brooks in person and over the telephone. I'm going to speak in very, very general terms. The vast majority of those conversations have to do with the substance of the case itself, the issues that I was researching on this case, and there were some very specific issues, which I'm declining to say now for privilege reasons, but that I was researching on this case, going over the case law, meeting with them to discuss lots of different issues. Certainly as part of that, I would have, with every one of my appellate clients, I would have conversations about basic appellate procedures, such as the difference between a post-conviction motion and going straight to the Court of Appeals and why that would occur. That is, as to the details of drafting a brief, rules of citation, the fonts and procedures that you have to do to submit an appellate brief. I, of course, have not had those types of conversations because it was my intent that if there was an appellate issue, I would be drafting that brief. I can say this, and I'm happy to do this to allay the court's concerns. Certainly, it's my intention to send Mr. Brooks a copy of the rules of appellate procedure for Wisconsin. We'll make sure he gets that. Additionally, in my experience of doing this for a long time, though the Court of Appeals will still hold pro se defendants to the letter of the law and the substance of the case, they won't give the pro se defendants any breaks on the substance. If there is an issue with page numbers or citations for a handwritten brief that would be submitted by a prison facility, I've never seen an issue where the Court of Appeals has objected to that. They're a little bit more lenient on those issues for obvious reasons.
Thank you. That was I don't want to say a concern, but a question I had, and that's good to hear. So thank you. Is there anything else you want me to consider in light of the motion that you filed with the court?
Just that I'm not, even if I was allowed to withdraw it today, I'm not going to close the file until Mr. Brooks has the entire file. I was speaking with our paralegal staff just yesterday going through multiple bankers boxes of materials. The facility where he's being kept at right now will not accept those materials. It's just too much for them to take in. However, if we scan them, download them, and put things on hard drives, multi-gigabyte hard drives, we can send those out. So it will be a very lengthy, time-consuming process for us to do so, but I'll make sure Mr. Brooks gets those materials with one caveat. Because of the time and expense to do that, we wouldn't be making multiple copies. So if something were to occur where Mr. Brooks would want another full set of materials, perhaps 8 months from now, it would be challenging for my firm to comply with that request.
So let me make sure I understand this. The prison facility at which Mr. Brooks is currently serving his sentences will not accept the volume of material that you have in paper or even standalone electronic other than on an external hard drive.
If we sent them desk and flash drives, I'm very confident the prison would accept that. But they made it clear to our office, and it was their staff speaking with my staff, that they would not accept, if I were to ship 5 bankers boxes of materials, they would not accept that. But if we put those materials on computer electronics, then they would have a place where they could store it safely and easily, where Mr. Brooks could access it in their library.
It is not a secret that Mr. Brooks is no longer being held in Wisconsin. If he were in Wisconsin, would you have had better access to him in terms of going to the facility, even with your own computer, and as his attorney showing him discovery if need be?
So I was able to visit Mr. Brooks at the Dodge Correctional Institution, and additionally at the Wisconsin Secure Program facility in Boscoville. The prison facilities made it very easy for me to do the visits. I was able to bring my case files. I wouldn't have brought that volume of materials to a meeting anyways, had I desired to go through any piece of audio video evidence. There would have been a mechanism for me to do so in Wisconsin. If hypothetically, if I were to remain his attorney, I am able to have telephone and Zoom conversations with my clients. It would be a little bit more onerous for me to do in-person visits.
If you were able to do Zoom, you obviously can share screen, even information from your computer.
If that's what we wanted to do.
Do you know what, if any, materials Mr. Brooks was able to take with him from his trial to the facility where he is at?
Mr. Brooks might be able to answer this better than I will, but it's my understanding that somehow along the way, when he was transferred out of state, he no longer has those trial materials. So we would be working to give him a complete set of what we have. And that would also include downloading all the materials from the e-file and putting that on a separate flash drive as well.
But you're willing to do all of that?
Yes, we will get extra funding from the Public Defender's Office to get extra paralegal support to do that.
And they're willing to do that as part of the case closure should this motion be granted?
I have not put in that request yet, but I am certain they'd be willing to do it. They've done it before on other cases that were also very serious cases. I'm sure I can get the funding.
All right, thank you.
And frankly, if we didn't get the funding, we would do it anyways.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, Mr. Brooks, I'd like to ask you some questions. First of all, are you aware that Attorney Covey has filed a motion to withdraw as your appellate counsel?
Yes.
And just as a reminder, even though I tried my best to talk to you at my cameras, when I want to watch you for your response, I look slightly down and to the right, or even to one of the other monitors. that I can look at. So I just want you to be aware that when I do that, I'm actually paying attention to you. Any questions about that, sir?
No.
All right. Do you want to have Attorney Covey withdraw and act as your own attorney, sir?
At this time, yes.
The Public Defender's Office sent to this court a letter dated February 26th of 2025. It is front and back. I think the actual filing had some additional information on the third page, but that had more to do with who was copied on the letter versus the crux of the letter. But did you receive a copy of that, sir?
From what was the date?
February 26th of 2025.
I don't believe I received that.
Mr. Brooks, would it be helpful if at this point I switch to a single camera when I'm talking directly with you instead of having the multi-camera view?
I can see you just fine.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to read the letter into the record, sir. It's important. It is from Kelsey Loshaw, the Regional Attorney Manager from the Madison Appellate Office. Does that ring a bell at all?
I think from previous letters it might, yeah.
Well, this one is specific because it was filed after the motion to withdraw was filed, and there's a requirement in Wisconsin Statute 809.30 that the Public Defender's Office advise the court of certain information. Does that help ring a bell, sir?
No.
All right, then bear with me. I will read the letter. It says, "Dear Clerk, in accordance with Wisconsin Statute Rule Section 809.30 sub 4 sub B, I'm writing in response to the motion to withdraw filed by the SPD appointed appellate attorney Michael Covey. The rule requires the SPD to determine whether successor counsel will be appointed and notify the court of the determination. I ask that you pass this on to the judge assigned to the case because the judge is required by Rule 809.30 sub 4 sub C to consider the SPD's response prior to ruling on the motion. The state public defender informs the court and Mr. Brooks if the motion to withdraw Mr. Brooks directed Attorney Covey to file is granted, Mr. Brooks will be waiving his right to public defender representation, and no new or successor public defender attorney will be appointed." Sir, have you heard what I just read to you?
Yes.
Are you aware of the risk you take as it relates to to a public defender appointed appellate attorney if this court grants the motion to withdraw?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me about that?
No.
The letter goes on, an indigent person's right to an appointed attorney for appeal does not encompass a right to an attorney of choice or to successive appointments. State v. Evans, 2004, Wisconsin 84, 273, Wisconsin 2nd 192, paragraph 30. If a defendant decides he no longer wants to be represented by an appointed attorney, he has the choice of terminating counsel's representation and proceeding pro se or with retained counsel. Id at paragraph 31. If a defendant elects to discharge his appointed attorney and proceed pro se, the defendant must be provided clear warnings regarding the dangers of self-representation before appellate counsel may withdraw. Id. Sir, did you hear me read the second paragraph of this letter?
Yes.
Do you understand it?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me regarding that?
No.
The letter goes on to provide the legal framework for the court's responsibility in determining whether a defendant validly waives counsel on appeal. And I'm going to read that paragraph. It is a direct quote from a case, State v. Thornton, 2002, Wisconsin Appellate 294, also found at 259, Wisconsin 2nd 157. For your information, State versus Thornton is a Court of Appeals case that dealt with an issue for the first time in Wisconsin in a decision dealing with the court's responsibilities in determining the waiver by a defendant of counsel on appeal. And in that particular case, and this paragraph starts out by giving a little statement about the state's summary of the issues. The state offers the following synthesis of the foregoing decisions. Before a court may conclude that a criminal defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his or her right to counsel on direct appeal, it must satisfy itself that the defendant is aware, one, of the Flores rights, parenthesis, to an appeal, to the assistance of counsel for the appeal, and to opt for a no merit report, parenthesis, two, of the dangers and disadvantages of proceeding pro se, and three, of the possibility that if appointed counsel is permitted to withdraw, successor counsel may not be appointed to represent the defendant in the appeal. The court went on, we agree with the state that ensuring a defendant has received and understands the listed information is both necessary and sufficient to support a determination that the defendant tendered waiver of counsel is knowing and voluntary. In that particular case, the issue or the procedural posture was that the appeal was already pending. And so the Court of Appeals had some further things to say about the communication with the defendant being written. That's not applicable here. I'm having a over Zoom face-to-face discussion with you, but this is the framework that will guide the questions that I ask. Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that case law as well.
Thank you. Any questions for me thus far?
Nope.
All right. So I just want to confirm, sir, did you ask Attorney Covey to withdraw?
Yes.
Did he send you a copy of the motion to withdraw?
Yes.
Have you reviewed it?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about it?
No.
Do you take any issue or claim made by Attorney Covey in dispute?
No.
Did you at any point in time tell Attorney Covey you're fired?
No.
All right.
Judge, if I could just clarify something. The conversations I've had with Mr. Brooks in every instance, they were quite respectful. There was no arguments. So when Mr. Brooks would ask me, when he asked me to withdraw, it was in a polite, respectful way as opposed to a "you're fired, get out."
Great, thank you. I appreciate that clarification. I still wanted to ask from his perspective. All right. Any dispute with what Attorney Covey just said, Mr. Brooks?
None whatsoever.
All right. Why do you want Attorney Covey to withdraw?
Judge, if I may, Mr. Brooks, this question could cause into some privileged information. You have every right to answer the question. You and I have had lengthy conversations about the substance of particular issues that I have looked at and my conclusions on those issues. I don't think it would be to your advantage to go in that direction. You could definitely answer the judge's questions, but I would just be guarded as to going to the substance of any legal research that I may have done, that I did do. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. I appreciate that. I can ask it in a more general way. Mr. Brooks, again, understanding the caveat that your attorney has given you, um, how would you characterize in general terms the reason you want to proceed pro se? Is it a strategy disagreement, or do you simply just want to represent yourself pro se?
I just want to represent myself.
So let me ask you some real specific questions then about some access to research materials and other things. I believe these questions go to your understanding of the difficulties and disadvantages as a pro se appellate litigant. Most of the time, well, if you file in the Court of Appeals, it is a written process that may or may not include appellate arguments in front of the court. Do you understand that?
Briefly, I understand the outline of what you're saying. Yeah.
So you're prepared to follow the rules and procedure of appellate procedure and submit written submissions, whether it be to the trial court or to the appellate court related to your post-conviction and appellate rights.
Yes.
Do you have, or what access do you have to legal research at the institution at which you are currently serving your sentences?
Honestly, not very much. It's very different. So it would take some time, and maybe a few conversations can be had in that area. But I mean, I don't know if that answers your question.
You've answered it. Thank you. Do you understand that could lead to further delays in your appeal or post-conviction motion?
Yeah, I do understand that. I kind of anticipate that with where I'm housed. It's like I said, it's a lot different. Um, Things are done totally different here. So I'm aware that that could pose some issues.
You don't dispute that you're no longer in Wisconsin serving your sentences, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You agree, I earlier said you're no longer in Wisconsin serving your sentences. That's true?
I would rather not say. Or
Judge, I can verify that he is no longer in Wisconsin. The Department of Corrections had requested me personally not to disclose his location. Of course, it's up to the court. I'm sure at some point it's going to get out. But I just had a conversation.
Let me answer that for a second, because
Sure.
we can take a brief segue.
Sure.
I am treating Mr. Brooks no differently than I would treat any individual who's serving a sentence in the state of Wisconsin. I repeatedly asked the Department of Corrections for information where he was at. I am a separate but equal branch of government, and they thwarted my efforts. I was only told he's in South Dakota and given email addresses for individuals that we could have contact. I need to be able, as the court, to send communication to him directly. That would be no different for any other inmate in the state of Wisconsin, whether they have an attorney or not. So today I directed my clerk to send an email to South Dakota and ask them for the information. It was provided and it is on CCAP. I have received no requests to seal an address. I have received no legal authority from anyone and no request. And so I'm treating Mr. Brooks the same that I would treat any individual, and that information is now on CCAP.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Brooks, do you believe that despite some of the challenges that you've described, or at least stated about access to research, that you'll be able to overcome that if you are representing yourself?
I mean, like I said, it's going to be difficult, but there are conversations that I'm sure can be had to aid me along the way. But I mean, I have to be honest and say that it will be very difficult.
But do you understand that's the risk you willingly take if you want to be your own attorney and proceed pro se?
It's a risk. It's a risk regardless whether I was in Wisconsin or not. It's just going to be, the question was based on where I'm currently housed, which is more difficult than if I was still housed in Wisconsin.
I understand what you're saying. I'm aware, but do you acknowledge, sir, that that is a risk that you willingly take by asking if I approve the motion to withdraw and you appear as your own, you proceed as your own attorney? You understand that?
Yes.
All right. And again, I'm not trying to be nitpicky here. I'm trying to make a record, and I believe it goes to the dangers and disadvantages of being a pro se appellate litigant who is serving multiple consecutive life sentences, meaning you're in custody, further complicated by the fact that you're serving those out of state, and you don't apparently have the same access to resources as you would in Wisconsin. Do you disagree with anything that I just said?
No.
I want you to be aware, sir, that you have the right to counsel on direct appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me about that?
No.
As you know, Attorney Colby was appointed by the State Public Defender's Office, meaning at the government's expense, to investigate and review your appellate options, and that the Public Defender's Office, through that letter that I read to you, has advised they will not appoint successor counsel under really any circumstances. Do you understand that? You want me to restate that?
No, I said yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You covered your mouth, so I couldn't even see your mouth moving. All right, you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about that for me, sir?
No.
The right to counsel in this circumstance, and I'm referring to not only 809.30, but the Wisconsin Constitution, Article 1, Section 21, includes the right to a direct appeal, the right to assistance of counsel for the appeal, and includes such thing as the right to opt for a no merit report, and abandon an appeal, essentially. Do you understand all of those things?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. The right to counsel, however, does not include the right to appointed counsel of your choosing. Do you understand that?
Yes.
It also does not include the right to insist that your appellate attorney pursue issues which he, in his professional judgment, choose not to advance. Do you understand that?
Yes.
In other words, if the only dispute, let's say, is over strategy and you change your mind later on, that's, in that circumstance, the SPD will likely not reappoint. I mean, they've said that in their letter. You can change your mind, you can have remorse, regret, you could try to find your own retained attorney, and if that doesn't work out, that once this court grants the motion to withdraw, they will not appoint successor counsel. Do you understand that?
Yes. And to be clear, there was no disputes between me and Attorney Colby. So there was no strategy disputes. There was nothing of the sort.
Sir, I know from presiding over a previous hearing related to the waiver of attorney that we spent a fair amount of time going through your background. And I just want to confirm a few things with you. You can read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes.
You completed high school through the 11th grade and obtained an HSED. Is that also true?
GED.
A GED. All right, thank you. Are you currently taking any medications that would interfere with your ability to understand what is going on?
Not currently, no.
All right, do you have any medical issues that would interfere with your ability to understand what's going on today?
No.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs today?
No.
It is also true that throughout the trial in this case, you represented yourself.
Yes, that's true.
Is there anything about this court hearing thus far that you have not understood?
No.
Are you asking this court to allow Attorney Covey to withdraw as your attorney of record?
Yes.
If you change your mind, I want to confirm once again that you are aware the Public Defender's Office will not appoint successor counsel.
Yes.
Are you aware that if you can't hire or retain an attorney on your own, the Public Defender's Office will not appoint successor counsel?
Yes.
Do you understand, sir, that you will be responsible for all aspects of your post-conviction litigation and appeal, including compliance with all court rules and procedures?
Yes.
Anyone make any threats or force you in any way to waive your right to an attorney in this case?
No.
Anyone make any promises to you in exchange for your waiver of right to an attorney?
No.
Do you believe you're making the decision to waive your right to an attorney freely, voluntarily, and intelligently?
Yes.
Do you need any more time to talk to Attorney Covey regarding your request that he withdraw?
No.
Do you further understand you may need to file motions in the Court of Appeals seeking an extension of time? Given the most recent extension goes to June 3 of 2025.
Yes, I'm aware. I didn't know it was that soon, but yes, I do understand that.
Judge, may I jump in for 1 second?
You may.
Thank you. And just for the record, we have sent Mr. Brooks copies of all of our extension motions and the Court of Appeals decisions. What I will do for Mr. Brooks is I'll send him again that my most recent extension motion that he can use as a template, and I'll include a closing letter with the instructions as to how to file that and to use a pre-appeal case number, some of the basic procedural issues that might help him understand the difference between a post-conviction motion and going straight to the Court of Appeals. Is, for my experience, the Court of Appeals is pretty lenient in giving at least several extension motions to pro se defendants. At some point, they'll put some harsher deadlines on. It's a gray area, but I am very, very confident that he'll have more time than June 3rd if he makes a proper request to have more time. It might take a couple of weeks for us just to get at those files to him. We've been working on it.
Mr. Brooks, do you understand that if the court permits Attorney Covey to withdraw today, you would be responsible to file the next extension request?
Yes.
And you are prepared to do that?
Well, once I receive the templates that Attorney Covey is going to send me, yes, I'll be ready to do that.
You understand he's not required to do that. He's just offering to do that, and it would not.
I know.
All right. You understand that's still something you are responsible for, whether he sends you that template or not.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want me to know or consider today, Mr. Brooks, as I consider the motion to withdraw?
Not really. I think everything was pretty much covered. Um, just understanding should be there that, again, this facility is a lot different. So there are different types of hurdles that I've already seen that I would have to jump over to be able to get things done. So I just want that to be stated for the record. That it's just a lot different, and there's a lot of different procedure wise things here. So I'm still navigating that as I haven't been here that long. So I'm still learning as I go. So that's it.
And you're willing to take on your own case with that difficulty and those challenges related to the institution?
At this time, yes.
Attorney Colby, anything you think I've overlooked here today as it relates to this motion?
Judge, I'm very satisfied with the colloquy. I think just to make a record, I have just one other issue. If I may ask Mr. Brooks a quick question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Brooks, I know you talked about that there are some difficulties. I just want to make sure, are you still allowed to have access to your legal files?
Um, so the legal files is something that I haven't been explained. Um, I didn't know that there was conversations about the whole uh, flash file thing. I haven't even heard anything about that. I really don't know how somebody maybe here can explain to me how that will work. Um, so I'm kind of like trying to figure it out myself, actually.
Attorney Covey, it's my understanding, based on what you said, I mean, you believe the institution will accept the external hard drives, obviously any paper that you send through regular mail, just not banker boxes or large boxes full of materials.
Yes. So if I were to send them a 40-page packet of materials with appellate rules of procedure and extension notes and templates, I think any facility would allow that to be processed through, so long as I don't have clips or staples. As for, but they balked. My initial email, I don't have this memorized. I don't want to make a false statement, but my initial recollection when I first contacted that prison facility was to say that we were going to send them the files. I was told they would accept the file, but then when I stated, or when staff stated that it would be 5 bankers boxes, they put the brakes on that. And then there was some correspondence between their legal staff and my legal staff as to the best way to do this. We'll likely be buying some terabyte hard drives to put the materials on that to send to him. I don't know how much access you'll have to the library. I know in Wisconsin, you can go in almost every prison facility, unless you're in some kind of segregated status for a fight, for example, with another inmate, that you can make reservations to go to a computer library to review your legal documents. I also know that the time is quite heavily rationed. He's not going to have 8 hours at a time to look at these documents. So that will be a challenge for him.
I was just gonna say that too. There's no law library, which I've never seen a jail or a prison without a law library. So I don't know how that's gonna work.
Do you have access to anything through a computer or online to access research material?
I have access to look at I believe it's Westlaw, and those are tablet based. But even
All right.
that is challenging.
I use a tablet-based Lexis. It's a similar platform. it can be cumbersome unless you know how to switch to the natural language search engine and how to limit the jurisdictions and what you're looking at. But
Judge-
I think it's similar to what you had when you were in Waukesha, is that not?
No, Waukesha had Nexus Lexus, or however you say it, Lexus Nexus, or
Oh,
which is
they're very similar. If you figured out Lexus, you can figure out Westlaw. In my humble opinion.
Judge, if I may add one thing.
Go ahead.
Mr. Brooks, I know that without going into the substance, I recall about a 2-hour meeting when we went over a large amount of case law together. What I'm happy to do is I can send you those copies of those cases that we discussed.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney Basie, is there anything the state wants me to consider or any additional information from the state today?
Yeah.
All right, then, as I indicated earlier, and I'll just go through some of the law that pertains to this issue in making my decision. A person convicted in Wisconsin of committing a crime has a constitutionally guaranteed right to appeal his or her conviction to the appellate courts. That's directly from the Wisconsin Constitution, Article 1, Section 21, and case law State versus Perry, 136, Wisconsin 2nd, 92, a 1987 case. The right to an appeal includes the right that the appeal be a meaningful one. An indigent defendant is constitutionally entitled to the appointment of counsel at public expense for the purpose of prosecuting his or her one and only appeal as of right from a criminal conviction. And I'm citing to or from State versus Thornton, and that again is 2002 Wisconsin Appellate 294. And that court was citing to the US Supreme Court and Douglas versus California, 372 US 353 from 1963. There's no dispute here today that Mr. Brooks is indigent. This court has noted previously, I've dealt with this issue with Mr. Brooks previously prior to trial, but a criminal defendant may waive his or her right to counsel in criminal trial court proceedings, provided the record reflects that the waiver is knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily made, and that the defendant is competent to proceed pro se. That's a citation to State versus Klessig. Appellate or post-conviction counsel appointed by the state public defender may move to withdraw from representation of a client, and in determining the motion, the court shall consider whether the defendant waives the right to counsel, and that's Wisconsin Statute Rule 809.30 sub 4 sub C. As I indicated earlier, at the writing of Thornton, no Wisconsin appellate opinions address the requirements for effecting a valid waiver of appellate counsel. Thornton relied heavily on Oman versus McCoutry, which was, although a Wisconsin case at that point in time, it was before the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. The citation for that is 130 F 3rd 809 from 1997. I did review that case as well. And from that case, the Thornton court stated and found that before a court may conclude that a criminal defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his or her right to counsel on direct appeal, it must satisfy itself that the defendant is aware, one, of the florist rights, which I've talked about, that's the right to an appeal, to the assistance of counsel for the appeal, and to opt for a no merit report that was briefly mentioned previously. 2, the dangers and disadvantages of proceeding pro se, which this court has, I think, exhaustively gone through with Mr. Brooks. And 3, of the possibility that if appointed counsel is permitted to withdraw, successor counsel may not be appointed to represent the defendant in the appeal. We know from the letter from the State Public Defender's Office, they will not appoint successor counsel, and that's a citation to document 690, filed February 26th of 2025. This court is satisfied that Mr. Brooks is freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving his right to appellate counsel. He confirmed many of the same requirements, if you will, that I went through with him at the time of his waiver back on September 28th of 2022. I just want to, I'm not going to read the entire excerpt into the record, but I am looking at the transcript, which is document 580 from that hearing, pages 75 through like 77. The court makes some findings that I believe are confirmed here today, and that's, he said today he had a GED that may have been referenced as an HSED. I think they're very similar. Nonetheless, Mr. Brooks has a high school equivalency diploma or a general education diploma. He's been able to communicate very clearly with not only counsel, but with the court. He's done that efficiently and effectively. He did not have questions for the court today. Frankly, this procedure went much more smoothly than the procedure and the questioning and answers back in September of 2022. And so I'm just going to rely and incorporate herein by reference many of the findings or all of the findings I made back then, because nothing has been presented to this court that would dissuade it otherwise, that he's intelligent, he understands the dangers and disadvantages of proceeding on his own. He's made the request. He now knows the SPD's position. He indicated it doesn't change his mind. We've discussed many of the disadvantages and potential pitfalls of proceeding on his own. He's in an out-of-state facility. He does not have the same access as he does in Wisconsin. We have some wonderful offers by Attorney Covey to send him additional information. He's aware he needs to file for an extension because the current deadline in the Court of Appeals is June 3 of 2025. So I have met, and through the colloquy here today, the requirements of the Thornton case, and I'm satisfied that he's doing so, again, freely, voluntarily, and intelligently, and with an understanding of really the dangers and disadvantages and of his rights to an appeal and to appellate counsel. And for all of those reasons, the court will grant Attorney Covey's motion to withdraw. And from here on forward, the court will consider Mr. Brooks a pro se litigant. We will be able to communicate directly with him. I would like an order. I don't recall if you sent a proposed order in, but if you would do that, Attorney Covey, I will certainly review that, sign it, and then we will send that on to Mr. Brooks.
I'll get that done before the end of the day.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks, anything else from you today? Attorney Covey?
Judge, I will make a request. Generally, once I'm allowed to withdraw, I'm cut off from the e-filing. I would request that I have the opportunity to send Mr. Brooks all of these materials, that I can file a letter with the court saying that we have done so, make a record of that, and then at that point, perhaps I can be cut off from the e-file if the court so desires. If there is some kind of issue where the prison won't accept anything, for example, then we would be able to address that. I just want to make sure that he gets his materials before I truly end my representation on this case.
You're asking that I delay the approval until you've been able to pull everything off from the court file that you currently have access as an e-filer.
I guess you can sign the order at any time. I don't, and oftentimes I'm kept on the e-filing system even after I've been withdrawn. It's just kind of a quirk of the e-filing system. So we can sign the order at any single time, but I would, as a friend or as a courtesy to the court, I could still draft an update letter letting the court know that these materials got sent out. I'm not trying to complicate it.
That's okay. My clerk is advising me that we can delay removing you even though I signed the order of discharge.
Thank you, Judge.
Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else from the state today?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, everyone. That does conclude the hearing today. For purposes of our live stream, we just not turn it off for about 30 seconds or a minute because there's a delay in the broadcast, and we want to make sure everyone gets there.
Thank you.
till the end. Thank you,
Thank you, Judge.
everyone. Good luck to you, Mr. Brooks.
Thank
Good luck, sir.
No, I don't know what happened to you. I don't know what happened to Dr. No. Girl, I hope she ain't done dip, honey. 'Cause baby, you need to come on back. I got some questions. Oh boy, he's back, y'all. He is back. When I tell you that is one manipulative, oh, oh my gosh, y'all, listen. Hold on for a second. Hold on. I'm writing something down real quick. Y'all, that man is so goddamn manipulative. When I tell you, okay, when I tell you, that man just, I like the fact that she has that background, right? Um, I don't remember, I don't recall how she said that she. I know she expressed that she has have had extensive time dealing with people like him, meaning people that will make you pull on your psychological skills to deal with, right? So she knows how to set people up. And this sounds bad, but again, I'm not talking to you, and what I'm saying may sound, it's going to sound like it's a bad thing, but no, it's just a skill set that is often used when it comes to forensic psychology, right? Sometimes you have to make a move in order to to get someone to react, so you can evaluate that. Or in her case, like she did several times when she was the trier of fact in his case, right? She had to, at sometimes she saw the the manipulation, the, acting like a baby, acting crazy when, he could turn it on and turn it off, right? And because she has a job as a judge to, one, make sure she presides over the proceedings per FRCP, FR, FRC, FRCPC. It's two seasons. FRCP at this point be when it goes down the road, it'll be a FRAP, definitely FRE. It's a lot of going on, right? But she wants to make sure that she makes the record very clear. Very, she wants to make sure that it doesn't come back on her. Because understand this, one of the appellate reasons, or not, well, yeah, one of many, has something to do with judicial discretion. Although they will give judges the greatest amount of deference, it doesn't mean that it's complete deference, meaning that they're going to consider and rely on what the judge's decision was, at the lower level, right? That's what that means. So she wants to make sure that her record, and you heard her say, she said, I need to make a record. Meaning, I need to ask you these questions to make sure that if whatever I decide to let this man off this case or not, that I ask all the questions I need to ask. Now, people was getting sick of her. They didn't understand why she kept asking questions the way she was asking, why she kept repeating herself, why she was doing this, why she was doing that. I know why I kept telling everybody everywhere I was, posting, that she is trying to make sure that whatever, if this is a conviction, that is upheld at the next level once it's appealed. And it won't be because she made a mistake. She made sure, and when you hear her ask about his understanding, and if he received this and if he received that, right? She wanted to make sure that she does not violate any of his constitutional rights, right? Because he has a constitutional right to have counsel. He has a constitutional right to understand the proceedings. It needs to be told to him that he needs to understand them. That's why they question you about your competency, especially if you have a person like Darrell Brooks. Most of the times, and let me tell you this, right? All those sovereign citizens and straw men and all that extra shit or whatever defense that they like to usher in the court, just to let you know, every officer of the court knows to ask you guys additional questions about your understanding, because we know that that's one of the first things you usher into an appellate court, and say you didn't understand nothing about what was going on when your ass got convicted, or when the judge rendered a decision and it was not in favor of what the hell you wanted, right? It didn't support your position. So we already know. Everybody got the memo. So when I saw that people were getting so like frustrated with her, that's just because, listen, they don't understand the process. What goes to the next level for review. What's the main thing that goes? The record. That's the briefs. That's whatever made it onto the record at the lower level. And she just want to make sure that you don't come back with, well, I didn't understand, and I told her I didn't understand, or that I acted as if I didn't understand. But now it won't be like, oh, I acted as if I understand. That's not what I mean. Through an assessment, the appellate court will be able to figure out whether or not you understood based on what they read on the record. That is why she asked him over and over and over again until it's like, I mean, I can remember people like, oh my God, if she asked that question again, oh my God, he got it. Oh my God, they were just really eating her up. They didn't understand what she was doing, you know. And with somebody like that, and see, I wish Mo could eat, you know, shit later on, because I wanted to ask her, or well, maybe she's still here. I wanted to ask her, with someone that is clearly acting, using the law, using the courts, and y'all know what I'm trying to say about this man, right? He frustrates me. That's the reason why I went a transactional way, and I only dealt with criminal, honey, white collar, and I didn't even have to do all this. I'm the deal maker, okay? But I wanted to ask her, because now granted, although he is allowed to represent himself, we clearly know that there's something that's not quite right. We heard about, his little struggles that he had, and I don't know I don't think he abused any substances, but nevertheless, we can clearly see there's something wrong with him. I don't know if there was a documented mood disorder. I know he got a personality disorder. I don't know if he has a documented mood disorder. I want to know, does she believe that he is a good candidate for sympathy? Just like yesterday when she came in and said free thug and she got up out of him. She needs to know that she can say, hey, interrupt this live real quick, because I understand the time schedule. Then I would have, stopped it. And that's anybody, not just her, anybody. Anytime somebody has something to say, whatever, y'all know I'll stop the live. We can always go back to it. But when she said free thug, I wanted to know if she felt that way, knowing that, and I agree with everybody. I don't think what he did and what have you violated his probation. Okay. But just say that he had violated his probation. A probation that he said he understood when he took it. Then is it still free thug? See, that's where, when I'm in the forensic psychology part of the job, and the doctors, that's where, we kind of can understand, right? You have some doctors and clinicians or what have you, right, that deals with defendants who have issues, have different, disorders, characterized under mental health disorders. And they somehow, when you read the assessment, when you read, and they offer recommendations too, when you read them, it seems like they are just so sympathetic to that person's disorders and all that and whatever, and this is the cause for what have you, what have you. I get all that. But my thing is, okay, but what about the victim? What about what they did? And more importantly, it seems as if they still don't want to abide by the law. Like, and I want to know, how long does the sympathy last? And do they take an account that these people, some of these people, specialists, whatever you want to call them, who will write an assessment or an evaluation and offer recommendations by, when you look at it, it'll seem like they think that the symptoms of whatever they got going on are present the whole time. And listen, I try to meet people in the middle, and this is where I've had to go back and forth with some folk, right? Because if somebody got issues or whatever, and it seemed like this crazy person, it seemed to come out. Maybe it comes out whatever when it is triggered or whatever, right? But also it comes out when they want it to show up, meaning a degree of manipulation, meaning manipulation is involved. They can control it. I want to know, do those people, like, what like, because I'm trying to tell you, y'all. That's what I'm saying. That's why we getting like, uh. We went ahead and knocked down, drag out, because you got people that, and let me tell you how it's set up. So maybe um, one area I was working in, the the clinicians, the people that do the PSIs, the PRIs, they're all were kind of in the same unit, so to speak, right? It's at the end when they are getting recommendations for sentencing. Remember, okay, in feds, we can only recommend a sentence. It's not like we can do a deal, but like, okay, you take this, you take whatever. I can only say, okay, they agree, and I, am okay with, or my recommendations are that they get no more than X amount of time because, they only took $100,000, and there were no um, there were no victims over 65, and there were no victims under 18. Um, there were no victims who had a handicap or a disability, right? Understand? And the reason why I'm pointing out those things because that's when you may see enhancements coming, or that could be indicative of another another motivation for that particular crime. A lot of crimes are done because there is a window of opportunity, right? So again, it's been a long time, but I still remember my shit. So you put all of that in there, and the judge goes by what you're saying or whatever, and then a lot of times I just got to show up to make sure he gets the paperwork and what have you, and then baby, I'm in and out, right? Not like in litigation, like what you see Bonjean doing in Darrell Brooks. Oh Lord. So this is so I done so much. I'm trying to tell you, honey, my God darn, I don't necessarily I don't have a CV, but put it like this. My resume is on DVD drive. Yes, ma'am. When I needed a paper resume, I was right here lost. I'm still kind of lost because I had to, leave a lot of the stuff off. I really didn't know how to do it. I really don't think it's even done right, you know. But they needed one on file now. I was like, oh my gosh, I almost cried. I don't pull up with no resumes. I haven't pulled up with no resumes since what the late since like right the early 2000s, something like that. Like, do that. And the I don't know if y'all remember the attorney that I went to school with. I had a little call I had when I was just asking some of the stuff we had already went over when it comes to appeals. And he was joking with me, talking about, tell me something, joking me about law school or something. But anyway, he is the one that did like a speaking resume, right? So anybody want to get fancy and classy, and you got a lot of stuff, yeah, just put it on DVD. But I had to get one to have it on file, right? And those little templates and stuff like that. It's like I have so much, and all I remember is that you're supposed to have just one page. Y'all, I tried the best I could. I got rid of so much stuff. I only was able. I know I didn't do it right because I know they don't understand. Like I had like two. I broke it up in two periods. From this time to this time, I worked this company. Blah blah blah. I broke it up into the different things I've done. I said from this period to this period, I worked for all these companies, blah 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 blah, and this is what I did, with all those companies. And then at this period, I worked all those companies. I know that's not right. That's not the proper format. But long time ago, I remember that you supposed to have like this one page resume. Ain't nowhere in hell. Ain't no way in hell. 2 pages. Listen, I had cut the damn font down to 7. It was crazy. And I hate it because that resume ain't proper. That resume ain't even proper. I ain't gonna hold you. That resume ain't even proper. It looks a hot goddamn mess. But look at me, I'm going on a tangent. But listen, those who see these defendants, right, and they have sympathy and empathy, and I don't. It doesn't matter about that. When we have a problem is when their recommendations and assessments and stuff affect our prosecutions. Meaning, we have a duty to the community. We would like to get as much time as possible. Okay? When it's time for them to do their part and give their recommendations and so on and so forth, whatever, they always have a degree of sympathy and empathy in their assessments, and I don't like that. Okay? Because of the manipulation of those defendants, as well as it seems like they don't never take the victim into consideration. And where I was, high, um, not high crimes law, white collar crimes, they they don't view the value of money like they view the value of life. Okay, they all, I didn't get it back. That's what I'm thinking they're saying in their heads, right? So it's always some shit. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't weigh the two the same. Money and life, right? And you know me. I had to get slick. I write in there that the harm this person caused by taking their damn money and stuff like this, they people life savings, whatever, it was detrimental to their mental health, bitch. I'm not calling them more bitch, but I'm just saying to their mental health and cause them, I was categorizing what the people were saying, how they were affected by what the person did. So I started writing my little two, writing all of that in there. How about that? I did a bongine on them. I'm gonna make the judge do some interpretation. Meaning, he got to step outside of the law and what he can and cannot do, and also consider what I wrote. He has feelings to consider. Consider also what I wrote. How about that? Mm-hmm. Because you was in our area, you was only gonna get, depending on what it is, either 5 or 10 years. Meaning, I mean, that's up to, depending on what type of financial crime, right? Child Shibuki. Damn, y'all can hit a bag. I see the little circle lighting up. Mm-hmm. I just want to know. Because you heard her, she said, free thug. And Grant, yesterday, that was some bobo. And tell what it is he had done. And we can definitely tell that the prosecutor was being just stupid. They was wasting the court's time with that. But I do wish that they would have told him to like stay off the internet or something like that. I definitely wish they would have done that. I definitely do because he. I mean, I just don't understand what's going on with this culture, right? You have people that will go online and just say anything about investigators, judges, whatever. Just do the most. Expose their resume, whatever. I mean, doxing is going too far. That is another area that I believe they need to really, really, really crack down on. Because we have seen where people turn to doxing just because they can't handle a verbal fight over the internet. Like, what? They don't know if it's wrong or right. They don't know what they're reading, why they reading what they have. They don't understand none of it. They just know that they losing the verbal fight. I'm gonna dox your ass. Now, shout out to the now if you doxing to get the address to show up, to knuckle up, and that's something different. Shout out to the ones that do that. But the doxing like just because you losing the argument, you losing the fight. Okay, well, I mean, you can no longer say you don't have the address. Like, show up, that type of shit. Like, that's crazy to me, right? They they were saying and doing all kinds of stuff. I believe they were on Infamous Live. I don't want to hold you, so I don't know if that's true or not. Uh, you know, I think he should just, like I said yesterday, just they obviously are watching either his movements or the people that I guess you would say that they support Thug because Thugger Daily stuff was in there. Um, whoever that person is a very nice person. But Thugger Daily, Sylvia, you know, I don't know if they know that Thug, frequent so Thug and his daddy frequent Sylvia's channel, what have you. I don't know if that was Sylvia's channel, but I'm not Sylvia's channel. I don't. Oh, I got sleepy. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh my God, y'all, this day shift, baby. I don't see how y'all do it. Mm. But anyway, Darrell Brooks. It looks like we're gonna be in for another show. This poor good white lady, the judge. I feel sorry for her. This man is a nut. Okay, You see how he was kind of, you know, calm and all of that today. Just when he get in, when the proceeding starts back, you don't see he gonna act like a fool. He don't never understand. When the most important part, he don't understand that, baby. He don't understand nothing the judge done said. He can't hear. He can't see. He can't do nothing. And I mean, when I tell you, and that being taken to other rooms and all that type of stuff, I don't know how many days that went on, how long, and all of that. I just so that happened in Wisconsin. So that's the Darrell Brooks situation. Anytime anybody want to interrupt me on anything, that's not a problem. Just come, just and don't interrupt me with no foolishness. Okay, let me say that. But, so also that was dropping down my timeline was another child case. It's like Kei'Mani Latigue, another child that was killed or neglected by the people who is supposed to be the one to nurture them, provide shelter, love. And once again, another child who has lost her life. Like, what is going on in the Midwest? I didn't know anything about this case. Of course, you have some, you know, weird dynamics of the family. And when I say people raised by their grandma, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the grandmother. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with children being wrong raised with the grandmother. I'm just saying when you hear that, an antenna goes up. Okay, over. Should I say when I hear? Y'all keep in mind I am like eyes about to shut sleepy, but I find that in a lot of the stories that we listen to, it's normally an element in there that their grandma raised them, and this is what it was, and this is what happened. You know, we know that the grandmas do the best that they can, right? That's an additional mouth to feed. I get that. Uh, mm, mm. Yeah, I had dripped off right now. But I'm gonna play this story and listen. I got to a little piece of the body cam. Y'all know I be on that Al Jazeera, right? I be wanting to see the blood, the guts, and everything splatter on the ground. But hopefully, I grabbed enough clips to provide us some context of what happened with this little girl. Are these children in the Midwest safe? Like, what is going on? And I don't know if the disparity of black children to whites is that because they, how they say they don't want the white now, the whites to be shown in a bad light. They're you know, um, hiding the stories then I, putting those out in the media. I don't know. But the number of black children to whites, I know it's greater than 4 to 1. Oh, I say 3 to 1. It's greater than 3 to 1. So hopefully I got enough clips and I see family members. Also, check this out right here. What's the little girl name? Who I thought the man was already the Jarvis Butts. It's a ladies channel that I share. I think she be having people that have information about the family or whatever that little girl's name. She was pregnant. Oh, I'm sleeping. I don't know that girl's name. But this lady, I think she said that she went to school with the daughter, and not what this they be like having little family members and stuff be coming out. I don't know, what side they represent or what have you, but that lady be having some on her channel or something. I think she's close to the family, something like that. Don't hold me to any of that. But they that lady has a lot of the backstory and stuff that the media isn't putting out or don't know or what have you, right? We always need to know about the family dynamics. We always need to know about the environment and what have you, in my opinion. Some people with some stories I can just take a little bit and just go with it. I don't need to know also, but with all this shit with these kids and all this and left in the house and the bitch still sending DoorDash to the all that is weird to me. It's just a lot of weirdness going on in that Midwest. But yeah, this is another girl apparently may have been killed by her father. I don't know why. Hopefully he was not touching her or anything like that. But the body cam is the thing that actually uh, caused me to be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put this on the record. I got some shit on the record. But yeah. So anyway, y'all, hold on, I'll hold you. Hold on, let me get that queued up. Boy, we got Darrell Brooks back. Lord have mercy. I mean, he's so manipulative. I'll never forget when he thought that judge was going to side with him, side in his favor.
Welcome into WTOL.
During the time.
Are you able to also see your attorney through?
During the time.
Welcome into WTOL 11.
Sentencing. And she set him up because she wanted to show how manipulative he was. And she said that he thought he had him. And those people think they can, outsmart everybody. And baby, she came back with that, with her response after listening to him rant and gave him a sentence that, I believe she would have put him in death. All right, let me get this on the record. So again, some of these clips, just to provide context about the story. I think I only have 3, but one of them is the body cam of the suspect, which is her father. being shot by the cops. And it's on real Al Jazeera time, okay? We seen everything. Well, almost everything. But they did, they did pretty good.
Welcome into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Sophia Periconi. We continue to track details about the disappearance and death of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. First, we go to the latest on the investigation. We're working to gather more information about a shooting in Columbus this morning that may be connected to Kei'Mani's murder investigation. The president of the Columbus Fraternal Order of Police says a man who was shot by SWAT this morning is wanted for a murder of a teenage girl here in Toledo. However, neither he nor a spokesperson for Columbus police would confirm if that man is Darrell Jones. Here's what the FOP president had to say.
When I heard about this case, this was an individual wanted for homicide out of Toledo. I called my union counterpart in Toledo. I said, hey, good news, we have your guy. Your guy committed a murder, chose to fled to our town. I'll tell you right now, the wrong town to come to if you murder somebody. Our SWAT team will go out looking for you.
We are working right now to confirm if the man shot this morning is Darrell Jones. He's wanted for the murder of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. And just a short time ago, our Silver Barker exclusively interviewed Kei'Mani's grandmother and legal guardian, and then Kei'Mani's aunt. Here's what they both had to say.
So my first question for you, yesterday, lots of things was going on. We want to know specifically at your home, there was a lot of speculation online that you were being arrested, but when we checked with police, that was not the case. So can you further clarify on exactly what did happen yesterday at your home?
Well, I was called and told that there was a mob of people in front of my house. They were angry. It was more or less the people that were here earlier waiting to see if it was Kei'Mani that was in the home. And basically some people from the neighborhood had contacted me and said that there was a mob in front of my house and they were talking about what they were going to do to me once I came home. So the police, the detective said that she would have a unit come out and help me get my things and more or less escort me off the property. I asked to be handcuffed just so they can get the away from my property.
Are you scared?
So no, I was never arrested. I was taken downtown, but I was never arrested.
Are you scared for your safety right now?
I am.
What are some of the things that you've been hearing and receiving from people?
They said they was going to blow up my house. They said they was going to do harm to me. It's just been a barrage of different things that they've been stating.
And now yesterday, let's backtrack first for a little bit. So you are the guardian of Kei'Mani, or you were the guardian of Kei'Mani, correct?
I am the legal guardian of Kei'Mani.
Okay. So in terms of taking care of her, when was Kei'Mani placed under your care?
A year ago.
So you take care of her.
She's been in my home for the past 5.5 years, but I just obtained legal custody of her a year ago.
Were you and Kei'Mani close?
We were.
What were some of the things, trying to think of her and paint a memory of her in a good light, right now with everything that's going on, what was Kei'Mani like? Tell me a little bit about how Kei'Mani was in the time that you've got to her.
Kei'Mani was phenomenal. Kei'Mani was a helper. Like she was older than what she appeared to be. Like, you know how they say somebody has an old soul? She was that. She loved older music. She loved playing video games. She loved the friends and family that she was allowed to be around. She played basketball for Spring Elementary. She was highly intelligent. So I'd like to clear up the mental issue statements. No, she was not mentally ill in any way. We had her, assessed, and they didn't feel as if anything was wrong with her mentally. So that was not a issue. But back to Kei'Mani, she would like say for instance, someone would come over and they had children, they didn't have to worry about their kids because Kei'Mani immediately embraced them and would play with them, you know, kid stuff. She was phenomenal. Like I said, she was like no other kid her age.
What school did Kei'Mani go to?
She went to Spring Elementary.
And we were told that at that time she was doing good in school as well too, correct?
She was. She had brought her grade point average up from a 3.4 to a 3.9. And, you know, actually they were going to have an award ceremony for the basketball players today at 5:30. But when I divulged to them that she had passed, they've rescheduled it. She was going to receive her trophy for being, you know, on the team and stuff.
And she has a birthday that's coming up, correct?
Her birthday is Friday.
And she would have been turning 14.
She would have been 14.
Did you have any plans for her birthday?
We were going to have her a large birthday party because it would have been her first birthday where, once again, all of my children were together and could participate in the party. Her mom was supposed to come and everything. So I asked her early on, what type of party do you want? She said she wanted a basketball themed party. So that's what I bought. Things that revolved around her playing basketball. I'm still receiving stuff in the mail for that.
So there's been some confusion now in terms of when it comes to family, you know, who's her biological father, who is her biological mother, and then also was she in the foster care system? Can you clear up a little bit of all of that? You know, when Kei'Mani was placed in your care, you know, when is the LCCS? Who exactly did she come from, and how did she?
She came from her other legal guardian. I choose not to state her name, but she came from her other legal guardian because the other legal guardian and I were best friends. The other legal guardian is my daughter, Kei'Mani's mom, godmother. And we had already discussed when early on, because she's been with this person since she was 9 months old. My daughter has never really had custody of Kei'Mani. So she's been with this person since she was 9 months old until, like I said, maybe 5.5 years ago. Now, off and on, this person, we would interact and, you know, do different things with her, for her, or I would contact her and tell her, well, I need this, or Kei'Mani would like that. And she would come by and oblige, and we would commence. It's just too much.
Earlier you mentioned when you were talking about what Kei'Mani was like, you know, you had mentioned that when family members did come over, who were allowed around her. Can you expand on that? Is there family members that weren't allowed around her?
No, it's just not very many that came around. And those that did, you know, she acted, as far as I'm concerned, she acted accordingly. She embraced all children, bad or good. Okay, next question.
So now we do know that Darnell, you know, people are looking for Darnell Jones right now. The police are looking for Darnell Jones, and there's an arrest warrant out for him. Do you have any idea of his whereabouts?
Oh, well, to my knowledge, he was just arrested in Columbus. He just recently had a shootout with the police in Columbus. They're saying that he confessed to her murder, and no, I take that back. They're saying that he confessed to her rape and slitting her throat.
How does it feel to learn that?
I can't even say.
You know, as the police report mentions, Kei'Mani was last seen with Darnell. You know, do you have any regrets of letting Kei'Mani go with, as you're her guardian, do you have any regrets of letting Kei'Mani go with Darnell?
I do, only because, like I said, I feel deceived. I feel like this was pre-planned. I feel like you meant to do this. I feel like you was grooming her.
When you say grooming her, is there things that you saw before this leading up?
No, I never saw anything out the ordinary. But when molesters decide to choose prey, they groom you first. So they give you gifts. They try and make you comfortable with them. They try and say little things to you that you and they can keep secret. And then eventually they pounce. And that's how I feel that oh God, how all of this is played out, I feel that's what happened. She was a virgin. She didn't like boys.
There's also comments, and we're just trying to address those and get those addressed, but there's comments online and speculation again that, Kei'Mani, her home situation, she was abused. What do you have to say to that?
Okay, abuse in whose eyes? Because she was not abused. Yes, she was chastised whenever she was wrong or did things wrong. Other than that, she was not abused. She was not just whooped for no reason or just because I felt like it. I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them. And you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that. So she didn't have like bruises all over.
How long ago was that when they came into your home?
I would say the latest, it was approximately 7 months ago.
And so you say the latest. So was it a few times that they came into your home?
It was twice total.
So twice total that they came into your home. Okay. And it was all for just like you mentioned, what you just said earlier.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in terms of, this whole situation, so you were not arrested, correct? And that's
Correct.
what, a lot of people seem to think as they saw you going out in custody, you asked for, correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So my first question for you, can you tell me your relation to Dorothy?
I'm Dorothy's second oldest daughter. I'm Kei'Mani's aunt. My name is Sanika. I live in Indianapolis. All this that is going on is devastating. You wouldn't think that, you see it happen around the world, but when it hits close to your heart, you really just be thinking like, did I do something wrong? Did I fail her? She didn't have the life to live that we have got to grow and live. She was only 13. So to know that somebody that I trusted, which was her father, to come through and deceive us just to get to Kei'Mani in some sexual way or a harmful way, that hurts me to the fullest. At the point I feel like I failed her. Me as being her aunt, a person that she could run to and tell anything and everything to. That was my girl. That was my baby. And to hear all of this, to know all of this, and to be going through all this and hearing it for as long as that it went on, it's very devastating. I see so many people that are supposed to be my family that's going against my mom and me for that instance, and saying like, oh, she failed her, she had something to do with it, she had this and that. It doesn't matter at this point. For right now, and until we get justice for Kei'Mani, it's all about Kei'Mani. What I would like to say is there's a lot of people on the internet starting GoFundMes, and that's not what we need right now, because it's not what Kei'Mani needs. The funeral home has objected to say that they're going to come and pay for everything, so there's no need for any GoFundMe pages, any of that. Everything is being taken care of that needs to be taken care of by her family, her immediate family.
Does it upset you that there are GoFundMes? Some of them, I think, in cases it might be scams too as well that are going on.
What upsets me is that people are starting these GoFundMe pages and putting Kei'Mani name underneath it, and they know that it's going to get viewed and people have sympathy and feel some type of way about that. And some of them can be scams, but I know some of them have come from family members. When just let the immediate family handle that. Like, what y'all gonna do with the money if y'all not turning it into the funeral home? There's no need. Let us handle it. Y'all just sit back and give us the emotional support that we need. That's what we need right now. As a family, as a community, we should all come together and just give each other the emotional support that we honestly need. And that's just what I asked for everybody to, calm down, breathe. I know this is a hard time because it's not just a hard time for y'all. This is a rough time for me. I just need y'all to come together and understand that we need each other as a community, as a family, and emotional support is what we need the most in this situation.
Yesterday the crowd was, yesterday you were here, I'm assuming, the crowd was very upset, lots of emotions going through too, especially at this time with such a sensitive situation. You know, we've heard multiple comments out in the crowd, attacking or pointing fingers at your mom. So, what has it been like trying to your support system and helping her out?
In a way, you have to be mature enough to decide, am I going to follow along with the crowd or am I going to, stick around with the loner? I'm to the point where I'm not following nobody. I'm going with what's right. If it was your mother, if it was your niece, would you console your mother? Would you console the person that was closest to her who lived with her? I'm not out to have a torch in the pitchforks and all out to go against anybody except the person who did this, which I believe was her father, Darrell. I don't have any other anger pushed towards anybody else. I'm angry that this happened, but I'm angry at the person who did this.
Do you know if, have you been in contact with Tiara, the mother?
Yeah, I've been in contact with my sister. It's been briefly. It's been over through text. Like I said, I live in Indianapolis. I seen her yesterday, but that was very brief. It wasn't even more than 5 minutes. It was more or less that she wanted to show me my other niece, Kazaria, which is Kei'Mani's youngest sister. But it wasn't like it was oh, sis, what are we going to do? Any of that. And I don't wish this on nobody. I really don't. I could, your mind go different places when it's a baby. That was a baby. Like I said, I have a very close relationship with Kei'Mani. She was a tomboy. She wasn't out looking for, trying to be fast or, mischievous or any of that. So for her mother to come down and have all this to say and all that, Tiara, where was you for the past 4 years? We haven't seen you since Kei'Mani TikTok party. You haven't called her. You haven't sent her anything. You haven't said, oh, baby, I'm going to come get you for a weekend. We haven't seen you until this happened. Why we got to see you when it's a tragic moment? So, Tiara, where do you stand?
And Tiara lives in Cleveland, correct?
Yes.
And so the past 4 years, you're saying there's very little communication.
Very, very minimum. It wasn't even, she'll call my mom. She'll go through me and say, have you talked to mommy? And I'm like, no, about what? And she'll say, oh, well, she got custody of Kei'Mani and she trying to get child support from me. So it wasn't that Tiara was concerned about Kei'Mani. It was more of why she want child support from me.
What is the relationship between your mother and your sister, Tiara?
It's very distant. They had their words. They fought. Kei'Mani mother has a godmother that Kei'Mani was with before my mom got her. And there was no communication then from Tiara. I feel like Tiara just let her go. Because any mother would be on her toes to get her children back. That wasn't the case here. It just wasn't.
When was Kei'Mani taken away from Tiara?
I'll say about 7-8 months. And then Tiara godmother stepped in and got custody of Kei'Mani, which would have been around 9 months. Yeah, and Kei'Mani had been with that lady from 9 months all the way up until about, I'd say 5.5 years ago. So it wasn't like Tiara was actually in the picture, saying, hey, maybe I can start getting myself together to get my child back so nobody else can get hurt.
You ever worried for Kei'Mani's safety with any of the family members or anyone?
I wouldn't say I was worried because I was here. I was here every winter break, spring break, holidays, birthdays. I was here for Kei'Mani. Yes, you come and you enjoy time with your family, but I was here for my niece. I also brought my youngest sister and her two kids from Indianapolis to be here for Kei'Mani because we've been in the system before. So I know how it feels to feel like, dang, I'm at somebody's house or not feeling not wanted. I know those feelings. So I tried to give Kei'Mani that at all times because she wanted and loved by her aunts. And this is just devastating that I have to go through this for the rest of my life and knowing I'll never have the embrace of my niece, the hey TT, what you doing? When you coming down here, I'll never get to hear that from my baby again. And that's what kills me the most. I just wish that when I was down here last that I had just taken her to Indianapolis with me. So this would have never happened. A lot of things, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but at the end of the day, I just really wish that whatever happened and whoever did this, y'all didn't have to do that to her. There's plenty of people out here with, grown people that put themselves out there to be, the sex workers or whatever it may be. You didn't have to do this to a child. And there was nothing that Kei'Mani would have done to make you hurt her. So she was a very timid kid, tomboyish, reserved. She wasn't, loud and out there. So it's just devastating that me and my family have to go through this.
Is there anything else that you would like to add at this time in the interview? Anything else that I didn't ask, maybe?
I just want people to understand that family is family. And at the end of the day, don't be so eager to go against your family. Talk to your family and talk to the children. These children may be scared to talk to the parents about things that's going on or what may be going on because they feel like they may get in trouble. But make it known that to your kids that you can talk to me. Make it very open. You can talk to me about any and everything. Because that's what these kids need to hear nowadays. Instead of going on social media and talking to somebody over social media about it, like he did this or she may done that. Talk to your family because they can handle. They're the adults that's supposed to handle it. So yeah, and it's forever Kei'Mani.
And to be clear, right now, Darrell Jones has been charged with murder, abduction, and felonious assault. There have been no criminal charges filed regarding any sexual crimes at this point. We also just got information about Kei'Mani's cause of death. The Lucas County coroner says she died from multiple incised wounds of the neck. She was pronounced dead shortly after noon yesterday. We'll have much more on this breaking story throughout the day. Until then, thanks for joining us on WTOL 11+.
Okay, I just grabbed that one real quick because we need some more context on this story. Right, I am a little waking up a little bit. This is sad. This is sad with this little girl. Hold on for a minute. Like, we don't know who all the players are in this with this particular murder. Like, this is crazy. Where will I put this? I'm going to put this one up under there. Okay. So the next one, okay, we did the grandma body cam. What is this? Okay, because I'm going to get to this body cam. Y'all, this is a trigger warning. This is a trigger warning. what you're about to see may trigger you. Okay? So I am a Al Jazeera girl. I love to see, but I just like the realness of viewing, the news, the TV in the moment. If in the moment somebody gets killed, trampled, whatever it is, I like to see it. Right? I like to see the whole thing. I don't want it blurred out. I don't want none of that. But so let's watch this. Get it up. When I get organized, or put it like, well, when I get around to organizing YouTube, I am going to get all my formats together. I'm trying to tell you, baby, I have 1,001 things to do. But when I see stories that are worthy enough to run over here, either whether it's on the record, off the record, I think I came up with something else. I go back and check. I will stop and find time to put it on our record out here, because this is absolutely crazy. Now, I'm not sure if this dude is the father or not. I don't know who this dude is, but this is crazy. And didn't they mention something about sexual assault in that last clip? But anyway, listen to this. I'll watch this rather.
Dude, show me your hands right now. Pull your hand out of your. I swear to God, pull your.
We're tracking new details in the death of Kei'Mani Latigue. The full unedited body cam video as police find and shoot the man they say killed her. What it shows happened just before an officer pulled the trigger. Plus, we get answers from Toledo's top cop.
We were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community.
The investigation into the abduction and murder of the 13-year-old girl continues. The full uncut interview with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley.
Political officials are going to have to step up. The local organizations, nonprofit and private, the businesses are also going to have to step up, because at this point, we should have been doing this a long, long time ago.
We just can't wait to make this happen and make it better for these kids out here.
The call for answers and justice continues as our community mourns the death of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. Her family is remembering her life as she would have celebrated her 14th birthday this week, and her father remains in the hospital, shot by police and charged with killing her. Here's how the story has unfolded. Toledo police posted the alert that Kei'Mani was missing on Tuesday, March 18th. It was just after 4 p.m. She was last reported at her grandmother's home on Elm Street in North Toledo. The next day, WTOL 11 spoke with the teen's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue. She's also Kei'Mani's legal guardian. She said she came home from work Tuesday morning, found Kei'Mani was missing. She called her school before making a report to TPD. By Friday, March 21st, family, friends, even strangers came out to North Toledo to search for Kei'Mani. Her mother, Tiara Caston, was there from Cleveland. Kei'Mani's dad, Darrell Jones, would be charged with abduction on Sunday, March 23rd. Court documents show he was the last person with her before she went missing. Then on Monday, March 24th, police found a body inside a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. The Lucas County Coroner's Office would later identify the remains of those of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. Her time of death was 12:19 p.m. Jones would be charged with murder that same day, and Columbus police tracked him to the city on Tuesday, March 25th. It was then that officers ended up shooting him and finding a gun at the scene. In a moment, we'll show you the unedited body cam video of this encounter. We do want to warn you, the video is graphic. There is profanity. You can see Columbus police identify Jones walking in the short north. They approach him. He says he wants to die, ignores police commands, appears to move his hand in his pocket, and then is shot. You're going to see two views, one from the officer who shot Jones, and then it switches to another responding officer whose body-worn camera better shows what happened next. Viewer discretion is advised.
Come here, man.
Don't do it.
What's your name?
Kill me.
Dude, show me your fucking hands right now.
Me, bro.
Pull your fucking hand out of your... I swear to God, pull your...
Shots fired. Shots fired. There's in a second. Get medic, bro.
Don't fucking move.
Don't move. All right, suspect down. All you guys are okay.
Don't move. He's got 33 right there.
33 in his hand?
No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there's 33s right here. Don't you move or you're going to get shot, okay? All right? Got it. Yep.
That's him.
Somebody get out.
Somebody get on the main air. Get us some medics. I'm working on it.
All right, on your belly. All right. I got cuffs. There you go. Thank you, brother. We'll get you help, okay?
I just want to die, bro.
No, I know, but we can't allow that.
I can't.
All right.
I don't want to live.
Get us some cruisers. Secure this scene.
Copy, I'm radio.
All right, who fired?
Him in the car. He did too.
All right. You did? I did not. Okay. He did. Okay. You good?
All right.
You good? All right.
I know.
All right.
Listen to me. I got to roll you off. I got to get you up on your side, okay? I got to get you up on your side. I got you.
All right. Where do you hit at, bro?
I don't know. All in my leg.
All in your leg?
He's all hit right here.
I know. He's hitting his arm once.
Oh, my God. Need a medic here now. Where's
I know. They're coming, okay? We got him. He's hit once in the arm.
All right. He's hitting the side here.
Yep, you're hitting the side.
Okay.
You're going to be fine.
Hey, look. You know what's good about this?
Sit up, okay?
You're gonna be fine.
I can't move my leg.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I think they're broke.
Where do you guys need us?
There you go. How's that?
They broke.
Okay.
I can't get up.
Okay. We're gonna leave you sit here like this. Take a deep breath.
Copy that.
Do me a favor. Take a deep breath for me, okay?
Hey, move your car. Block that road. You're on shell cases. Get that road blocked.
We can't lay you down. Okay, you've
We're
got to
holding
stay
you
up. I'll hold you up. All right. You just relax. Lean back into me. There you go.
You're going to be fine.
Listen. Hey, nothing's ever that bad. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well.
Darrell, right? Do you have anything else on you? Do you have any more guns?
Where's
Yes.
the guns at? Where's your other gun at?
I don't.
Darnell. Hey,
Sorry.
Darnell.
Do you have anything else on you?
Yeah, you said you had a gun.
I don't. I think he's just fading. I don't know. Nope. Just stay back, okay, please.
Stay back.
Hey. Okay. Okay. We're making good witnesses. You're fine, ma'am. You're fine.
We got to get him searched. The medic's going to take him.
I know. Hey. Hey, you guys somebody just go chill.
Somewhere else.
Hey, have that cruiser start getting scene tape.
Let the medic in. Step back. They're fine. It's fine. Yeah, we need a cart. We need a cart. Cart. I know. Stay with me, bro. Keep talking to me, guys. Dave, 511. If anyone is listening at home, officer support. Sit here, legs, arms. Which way do you want it head? Here. Right there. Okay. Up. You need him out of the cuffs? Yeah, we're gonna need him out. All right. We're gonna. Hey, listen. We're gonna roll you over one more time. All right. Gotta get those cuffs off. You see, relax. Clean up. There you go. He's hitting the arm, leg, arm, and I believe left chest. Okay. I get a good search on him. I am. Everything's got to come off. You taking him down enough in this? Yeah. All right, that's fine. Pull this off. All right. Cut the cuff off. Cut your belly. You have to help us lift? Yep. Grab one, grab the head. 1, 2, 3. Down. We're down. Hold on. Just there. All right, I'm good. Hey, don't move your arm. I know it hurts. They're going to help you, okay? Well, we're not trying to hurt you. We're not trying to kill you. No, we're not going to take it off your arm, okay? They're going to cut it off in just a second.
Jones was due in court on weapons charges in Columbus, but did not appear because he remained in the hospital as of Thursday, March 27th. Now the call for justice continues. Rumors swirl on social media, and there may still be more questions than answers. WTOL 11's Silver Barker took the discussion to our city's top cop. She sat down with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley to separate fact from fiction.
So my first question for you, Chief Trenley, you know, there's been a lot. So let's kind of do like a timeline, and let's start with first question. Let's go back to when Kei'Mani was first reported missing. You know, there was a report sent out, but is there a reason why there wasn't an Amber Alert? That's a lot of people's question.
Yeah, so when she first went missing, our Amber Alert requires specific criteria when and how we do our Amber Alerts. And that's kind of like a national standard. And so it did not meet that criteria because at that point there was not any thought of there was a family kidnapping or family being involved or any foul play at that point. At this point, we had a lot of different stories about a missing 13-year-old that may or may not have ran away for different reasons. So at that time, we'd already interviewed all the family members and we were talking to everybody. So there was nothing that would have qualified for an Amber Alert or that actually an Amber Alert would have done for the investigation.
What is the usual criteria for an Amber Alert, just so people know?
Yeah, so there's different things, but a lot of times, especially when it involves a family member, we need to have that we suspect a family member has kidnapped them and has run off with them, that we have descriptions of cars or locations and stuff like that, something that we can provide. And for this type of case, it just did not meet that criteria.
Now, my second question for you, TPD received a tip. You guys received a tip about the body that was found in that house. That's how you guys first found out about it being there, correct?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, actually. Which tip?
You guys received about the body being found on Miami Street in the house. There was a tip that you guys received, or was it anything in the report? It was mentioning that you guys were notified, and I believe it went to the detectives' work as well. There was communication and messaging through, was there a phone call or anything, or Crime Stoppers? Was there anything sent out? How did you guys find out about the body inside the house?
Through detective work, really. So, so through some interviews and some investigating. At this time, I can't disclose why or how, because it's still very pertinent to the investigation. And at this point, we're not ready to talk about that aspect of it. But yes, it was our detectives doing a great job interviewing and investigating and following up on some leads that got us to that location.
Now, going to the body when it was reported that it was found in the house, when lots of people found out and it spread in the community, people showed up very soon right after that while you guys were there doing your work. There are a lot of people live streaming on their phones, showing it and kind of just talking about it in general. There's a huge presence there. I mean, we saw it. I was there that day. Did that at all impact your guys' work there while you were doing that? Did it affect how you guys were doing? I mean, could you guys have done anything differently there if people weren't there, yelling, shouting? What?
No, obviously, anytime you add a little bit of chaos to a scene, that makes it a little bit harder for us to do our job. But, we're prepared for that. So we have officers that can contain the outer perimeter and make sure that no one gets in. And then our detectives, they're focused on their job. They're going to do their job, whether there's people watching or not. So they're still going to be able to do it. It's just the outside officers being involved more and trying to maintain, as you just said, a very highly agitated scene for good reasons, right? But the reality is, it doesn't affect the investigation itself. It just makes it a little bit harder for the officers on the scene to maintain that perimeter.
Do you have any idea how many of your officers were out there that day?
I actually don't know how many we had deployed out there that day. I know we had a lot of detectives, roughly 10 to 12 detectives that were on scene. As far as the outer perimeter for the number of patrol officers on scene, I don't know that number.
Now, moving on to Darrell Jones, he's in the hospital currently, and that's where we're kind of at with that situation. But I know that yesterday you mentioned in an interview that you guys sent detectives down there for questioning. Has he confessed to anything? Has he confessed previously before then? What are you guys getting?
So we did send detectives down and interviewed him in his hospital room. We made progress there. So we have some things that we're going through at this point. Once we get all the information that he provided that we've gathered, we'll meet with the prosecutors. We'll walk through that timeline with the prosecutors and decide with their guidance on the charges that will be filed. And then at that point, we'll talk about, what charges are going to be out there. We'll release that information. But right now, we did talk to him. We are moving forward. I would say we're in a pretty good spot investigatively anyways on moving forward with this case.
Speaking of charges, on Monday, we read in a report that he was charged with third-degree felony of abduction. At this point, what charges are we still looking at? Do you happen to know? Is that charge still there, and is a murder charge as well?
So, as my understanding right now is the murder charge is added and the abduction charge is still there, but that's right now, those are the only charges that are out there. Obviously, as we work through all of the statements and all the leads that we have now, there may be additional charges.
Do you believe that Darrell acted alone, or is at the time right now, are you guys considering other suspects, or is there other people you guys are looking at?
We're always looking at the chance that there might be multiple people involved. I don't necessarily believe that or disbelieve that that's the case right now, but that is something that we will continue to run down through the investigations. There's statements that always conflict each other, and there's always kinds of things that need to be tied up in an investigation, and that's the phase we're in right now. So right now, we only have one person charged.
I know why you guys can't say what he told detectives yet. There was a lot of talk earlier about his statements not matching, which was said in a police report. There were a lot of inconsistent statements and stuff. The statement that he's given now, is it a bit clearer? You don't have to say the details of that. I know you guys are still working, but is it clear?
I think we have a much better understanding of what happened. By far a lot more understanding after we talked to him. But at that point, that's about as much detail I can give you on our conversation with him.
Do you think that, hearing from the community, this is a case we've seen the social media very, very present with a lot of comments and sometimes mispeculation and misinterpretation, misinformation, a lot of that being spread out there in social media, people saying he was found before he was even found. Do you guys wish maybe you would have communicated a little earlier about this case, or do you guys wish you would have had a press conference or something?
So there was nothing that we could have done in a press conference. We did a press release or a news release from the department, and our detective bureau did as well. And then our detective, our lieutenant in charge of the investigations, was on scene that day and actually gave an interview that day. There's nothing else that we could have done in a press conference. We gave out that information. We waited on the press release from the coroner Those are different things that we do that give out details. A lot of times, and up until, he was arrested, there wasn't a lot of information we could put out. And so at that point, a press conference is not really going to accomplish anything. We were giving out as much information as we could. Social media is going to be social media, and people are always going to speculate and run with their own theories. And unfortunately, we can't control that. But the reality is, most things you read on social media, especially early, probably aren't even true.
Speaking of that and social media, is there any rumors right now regarding this case that you want to dispel right now that you can think of, like, hey, this is the fact?
I can't think of it. Well, I can't think of anything out there on social media right now. I try to avoid it as much as I can. So I don't have anything really right now that I would say, hey, stop listening to that because it's not true. And really, it's probably too early for us to even address some of those issues.
There is a lot of things going on in this case and a lot of details and things being looked at. We know that you guys are still investigating, but in terms of how long you think you guys are getting closer to the answer and closer to a conclusion, how long do you think this is going to take to play out?
Unfortunately, that's very hard to speculate. There is a lot involved in this case. Obviously, we're talking about 2 different cities being involved. We're talking about, we have a week of things that happened, right? So we are working the case as fast as we can. As I said before, I think we're in a really good place investigatively. And I think as soon as we can button everything up and run down every lead, last thing we want to do is be premature in our charges or premature in saying, this is the only suspect we have, we're good. We don't like to do that. We like to make sure we investigate everything out there. So when we do take this to trial, there is no room for doubt.
Speaking of that, you guys are reactionary, right? I mean, when there's trouble in the city, you guys are the ones called and you guys come in. But looking at this case and just looking in general, is there anything that the community can do with things like this or with situations like this that help prior to you guys having to come out and do something?
Oh, absolutely. So our community knows their neighborhood better than any police officer can possibly know it, right? So no matter how many hours we spend in the neighborhood, there's things that we will never hear or never see that other community members or family members are seeing. So if there's ever any doubt in anybody's minds about any, so let's take this case, right? So if you ever have any doubt that some child is being abused or something is just not right, then by all means notifying us or notifying CSB and getting the authorities involved early before it gets to this point. Because unfortunately with this case especially, once we were involved, it was already way too late for us.
I think my last question for you here is, the officers who responded to the scene and found the body, from what we've learned of the details, it might be a lot. And when we hear of cases like this of children involving children and children on the scene, that can be a lot to take in. Is there anything that you are doing for the officers right now to help them get through that, who were there on that scene?
We are. So over the last several years, we've really developed a wellness program that is kind of top notch. And we immediately have our peer support officers reaching out to those officers. Sometimes, depending on the situation, we'll do debriefings and bring in professionals to come talk. Our wellness coordinator, Sergeant Welling, is always contacting them and offering up services and to see if there's anything we can do. As an officer, we all deal with trauma in different ways. Some people like to talk, some people don't. But we're always looking out for those warning signs to make sure that we don't need to intervene.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to include at this time that you would like to mention about this case that I did not ask? Now's the time.
So the only thing I would add is, I'm extremely proud of our department. This case moved pretty quickly and we were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community. There's nothing worse than a missing that's still missing, and there's that hope out there. So I think our officers did an outstanding job. And I'll say it again, I think the Columbus officers, when we contacted them, asked for assistance, they did an outstanding job as well. And, we have two good police departments that are coordinating and communicating and working together to get to a conclusion, at least on this case.
Thanks for joining us for this special presentation here on WTOL 11 Plus. Stay with us here for continuing coverage of the life and death of Kei'Mani Latigue. If you're watching on WTOL.com or YouTube, we're always streaming on WTOL 11 Plus. You can find full interviews with Kei'Mani's grandmother and aunt, along with unedited news conferences from Columbus Police after that shooting incident, all on demand on your schedule. Download WTOL 11 Plus on your TV and watch for free.
To the new developments in the homicide of Kei'Mani Latigue. Tonight, the girlfriend of the murder suspect, Darrell Jones, is speaking out. He's accused of killing his 13-year-old daughter, Kei'Mani Latigue. Police found her body in an abandoned home on Monday.
Jones' girlfriend telling 13 Action News she called detectives when she learned he allegedly hid evidence in her home. 13 Action News reporter Alexis Means remaining on this story on your side with new details in this case. Alexis?
Lee and Christian, she told me that Darrell Jones has never been violent toward her, and she told me that she doesn't know why he killed Kei'Mani.
Kei'Mani used to be over my house all the time, and we loved her. And now she gonna have to grow up without seeing her sister anymore. I mean, I don't feel bad for anything he's going through, but her, she did not deserve none of that she got. Nobody do.
She didn't want us to show her face, but you can hear her voice trembling as Darrell Jones's then girlfriend shares how she helped Toledo police with evidence in the case. Last Friday, police set up a meeting to question Jones.
The weird thing about it is because before they even showed up, he asked me to turn my cameras off. I have cameras in my house, and he asked me to turn them off. And I was like, why would you want me to turn the cameras off? He said, because I didn't come home till 5 o'clock that morning. And he didn't want them to suspect anything because he didn't show up till 5. And I'm like, well, thinking in my head, I'm like, well, if you don't have anything to hide, then why should I turn the cameras off? And I didn't, but he thought I did.
She and Jones have a 2-year-old daughter together. She says she was in the room when Jones tried to hide evidence connected to the case in her house.
After the police took us downtown and questioned us, I came back home before he did, and my family that was here informed me that he hid something under my stairs in my basement. So I called the detectives, and they came and did a search warrant and grabbed it. And once he noticed those were gone, that was the last time I seen him.
Police executed a search warrant. What did he hide under your stairs?
It was like a mat for the back of your truck, not a pickup, but SUV, when you lay your seats down and you put that rubber mat in there to protect the back of your seats in case you're hauling something. That's what he rolled up and put in my basement. And his work boots, which were caked with mud. I never seen him put it under there, but I wasn't about to hold no evidence for him or none of that. He must have thought that.
Jones went on the run to Columbus, where he used to live.
After the search warrant and he disappeared, we left the house because I was scared that he might come back and harm one of us.
Police located him after he called his girlfriend, and she called police.
What's your name? Kill me. Kill me.
And Toledo police say that Jones is still in the hospital. They're not sure when detectives will be able to bring him back to Toledo. Christian, back to you.
We continue to track breaking news right here, right now on WTOL 11 Plus. The search for a missing 13-year-old has come to a tragic end.
The Lucas County Coroner's Office confirms police found Kei'Mani Latigue's body inside of an abandoned home in East Toledo. Now, her dad, 33-year-old Darrell Jones, who is still on the loose, is charged with murder. The investigation started after police put out an alert for Kei'Mani when she went missing on Tuesday, March 18th.
Well, right now, Toledo police are asking for your help finding a missing teenager. Take a look here at your screen. This is 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. Police say she was last seen on the 2900 block of Elm Street. That's near Central and LaGrange. Anyone with information should call or text Crime Stoppers. That number is 419-255-1100.
Just hours after the developments Monday night, a makeshift memorial appeared outside the house. A woman who dropped off flowers didn't want to go on camera, but said that she felt the need to honor Kei'Mani's memory and to show the city that she was loved. Kei'Mani Latigue had not been seen alive for 6 days, and late Monday night, her father was charged with murder. Her family, friends, and community searched for any signs of her, and though the physical search has ended, the search for answers continues. The story made headlines when Toledo police made this post on social media Tuesday, March 18th. 4:03 p.m. That's when the alert for missing 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue went out.
I usually get off of work at 9 o'clock. I made it home like 9:40 that morning. She wasn't here.
WTOL 11 talked with Kei'Mani's grandma the following day. She said she saw something unusual when she came home from work and called TPD.
There were things in the floor that should not have been. That's what caused the alarm. So I called the school to speak with her. I asked them, could I speak with her? And then they did. They contacted the principal, her teacher, and the gym teacher, and all three of those guys said that she was not there.
2 more days passed. Now 72 hours since anyone has last seen Kei'Mani alive. Family, friends, and even strangers came out to search for her.
So let's scour throughout here.
The group spent the weekend alongside Kei'Mani's mother looking for any signs of the 13-year-old girl.
Honestly, this is breaking me. I've been falling the apart since I found out. I've legitimately been on social media since the minute I found out, spreading awareness, sending out flyers, contact information, anything to get my baby home. I have not slept in 3 days. I have not ate in 3 days.
We need all the support we can get from anybody. We don't care who it is. Please just come out and help us find my niece.
The next day, Sunday, March 23rd, a felony abduction charge filed against Darrell Jones. Jones is Kei'Mani's dad, and court records show he was the last person with her before she went missing.
This man has been to my house several times. He usually takes her for weekends to his house to visit with him and his other children. And I feel deceived. Like, you played for so long in my face, like you was her dad, like you really had her best interests at heart. But where is she?
If my baby don't make it home, I will never be okay again. And I hate to say that because I have other kids.
That fear became reality when police pulled a body from a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. A body Kei'Mani's grandmother says is the missing 13-year-old girl. And of course, that being confirmed by the coroner and Toledo police today. Kei'Mani's father, 33-year-old Darrell Jones, reportedly telling police that he saw his daughter late Sunday night. He claims she called and said she was afraid someone was trying to break into their house. Jones and a cousin allegedly stayed with her for about an hour and left around 12:30 in the morning. Jones was initially charged with abduction. Late Monday night, police announced a new charge, murder, with no court date set as of yet and no update on where he might be.
On Friday, March 21st, family, friends, and community members organized a search party in North Toledo. That's where Kei'Mani went missing. Her mother traveled from Cleveland to join in. She expressed her distress over her daughter's disappearance and told Chase Bachman she hadn't slept or really eaten since hearing the news.
People in North Toledo spent the afternoon and evening looking for Kei'Mani Latigue. She's 13 years old and has been missing since early Tuesday. WTOL 11 spoke with Kei'Mani's mom, Tiara Caston, who lives in Cleveland. She says she just got to Toledo Friday to help with the search. The last few days for her have been a nightmare.
I have never had a seizure before in my life, sir, and I've had 3 within the past couple days. This shit is tearing me up. If my baby don't make it home, I will never be okay again. And I hate to say that because I have other kids.
Family and friends say Kei'Mani isn't the type of girl to get into trouble. They aren't sure why she would go missing or if she was taken, why somebody would want to hurt her.
And we need all the support we can get from anybody. We don't care who it is. Please just come out and help us find my niece.
Tiara says the last few days have taken an emotional toll on her, and all she wants is to see her daughter home safe.
It would be the world to me. Like this, I hate to, I don't like cursing, but honestly, this is breaking me. I've been falling the apart since I found out. I've legitimately been on social media since the minute I found out, spreading awareness, sending out flyers, contact information, anything to get my baby home. I have not slept in 3 days. I have not ate in 3 days.
If you have any information that could lead to Kei'Mani's whereabouts, you're asked to call Toledo Police or Crime Stoppers. Reporting in North Toledo, Chase Bachman, WTOL 11.
And once again, unfortunately, the search has come to a tragic end. It was Sunday, March 23rd, when a felony abduction charge was filed against Darnell Jones. Jones is again Kei'Mani's dad, and again has now been charged with murder. Court records show an open warrant for his arrest. The affidavit alleges that Jones was the last person with Kei'Mani before she went missing. And it shows he provided inconsistent statements regarding what he was doing and where his daughter was. Phone records, surveillance footage, and witness statements contributed to those charges. Here's a look at reporting by WTOL 11 Sophia Perricone and Silver Barker as those developments unfolded.
We continue now with breaking news. The father of a missing teenage girl is being charged with third-degree felony abduction. 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue has been missing since last week. Police say she was last seen on March 18th. Silver Barker joins us live from the safety building with the latest. Silver.
Sophia, court records show that there is an arrest warrant out for Kei'Mani's dad, 33-year-old Darnell Jones. Toledo police did confirm with us earlier this morning that this is in relation to her disappearance. Here's a picture of Kei'Mani right there on your screen, Kei'Mani Latigue. Again, police say she's been missing since Tuesday. Police tell us Jones, who also uses the last name Ogletree, is the biological father of Kei'Mani. According to court documents, he's wanted for abduction removed from place found. The report also mentions Jones was the last person with Kei'Mani before she went missing. It also lists that Jones gave officers inconsistent statements about his activity with Kei'Mani and their whereabouts. Now, the report also mentions communication records and surveillance video helped the detective get to this point. Reached out to TPD for further information regarding that. We'll continue to keep you guys updated as we learn more today. Reporting live in Toledo, Silver Barker, WTOL 11.
It was just after 3 Monday when police pulled a body from the home on Miami Street in East Toledo. That house is at 1101, the corner of Miami and Wilmot, almost directly behind the Glass City Riverwall, and less than 4 miles from where Kei'Mani was last seen alive at her home in the 2900 block of Elm Street. The house where she was found in East Toledo was boarded up and had been on fire at least 2 times in the past few years. The most recent, July 14th, 2022, just a few months ago before that, in May of 2022.
Within moments of the discovery, WTOL 11 was live online and on WTOL 11 Plus. Our team provided updates as they happened from outside that home in East Toledo. Sophia Perricone and Silver Barker, they kept us informed as the situation developed right before our eyes.
Welcome to WTOL 11 Plus. We have breaking news we want to alert you to right now. The family of a missing teenage girl tell WTOL 11 police have found her body. TPD confirming to us this afternoon a body has been found, but they aren't sharing the identity at this time. Our Silver Barker joins us live from where police are searching. Silver, what can you tell us?
Right now we're here on the scenes where a body has been found in the house behind me on Miami Street. Toledo police tell us it is in relation to 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue, who's been missing since March 18th. Now, police have not yet confirmed with us whether the body is the little girl, but family members we talked to earlier have told us it is. Lots of Kei'Mani's family and people have shown up from the community. We heard from Kei'Mani's mother, Tiara Caston, who says she hasn't been told anything. Now, right now, there is an arrest warrant out for Kei'Mani's father, Darnell Jones. He is wanted for a third-degree felony of abduction in relation to Kei'Mani. At this time, police have not given us any updates besides what was previously reported.
I just want to know if it's my baby. They still not telling me nothing. It takes nothing. It's nothing to take a picture. It's nothing. So you know what I'm saying? Let me know when the coroner's bringing her out so I can see if that's indeed my baby. Y'all not saying nothing. And y'all can tell if it's a grown woman or if it's a little kid. My daughter tall, but she still has the body of a child. You know the difference.
So what are they telling you?
They're not telling me nothing. They ain't told me nothing. Not a word. Then they talking about it might be days before I be able to identify my child. Like, no.
Now, this is an ongoing investigation. We'll continue to be here live at the scenes, and we'll continue to try and give you guys updates as we can. Reporting live in Toledo, Silver Barker, WTOL 11.
All right, Silver, thank you so much. And again, if you are just joining us, family members of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue tell us her body has been found, but we are still waiting to hear more from Toledo police to confirm the identity of a body that was found. Court records show there's an arrest warrant out for Kei'Mani's dad, 33-year-old Darrell Jones. Toledo police tell us that warrant is related to Kei'Mani's disappearance. Police say Jones, who also uses the last name Ogletree, is Kei'Mani's biological father. According to court documents, he's wanted for abduction. The report also mentions he was the last person with Kei'Mani before she went missing last week. It also lists that Jones gave officers inconsistent statements about his activity with Kei'Mani and their whereabouts.
Sophia Periconi and Silver Barker there as we continue to learn new information. One of the questions we're seeing asked a lot on social media is why there wasn't an Amber Alert issued in this case. Kaylee joining me once again here in studio. There are very specific requirements, we understand, before that system can be triggered.
Jeff, we've all heard those Amber Alerts go off, or maybe we've seen them on our phones. Amber Alerts are definitely a good way to get people's attention, and here's what it takes to issue one. 4 pieces of criteria must be met. First, law enforcement has to confirm the child is younger than 18 years old. There also has to be a credible threat of immediate danger, serious bodily harm, or death to the child. Police need to have descriptive information about the child, the suspect, or the circumstances surrounding the abduction, and believe that an alert will help the child be found. Finally, investigators need to determine the child did not run away or was not taken as a result of a family abduction unless, again, the investigation determines the child is in immediate danger of serious bodily harm or death.
As we've seen over the last week, this is a story that has touched a number of people in the community. Tonight, there are a number of heavy hearts. Videos posted to social media Monday appeared to show Toledo police taking Kei'Mani's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, away from her house in handcuffs. WTOL 11 has reached out repeatedly to TPD for clarification, but as of Monday night, we have yet to hear back. A family member said that Dorothy was arrested, but she did not have any information on the charges. While Toledo Mayor Wade Kapsakavage could not give specifics, we did ask him about the investigation.
It's hard to put into words just how terrible an event this is. Obviously, for the family and friends most directly affected, but really even for the whole community. I mean, for several days now, a lot of people have rolled up their sleeves and, have been a part of search efforts and been a part of, trying to find answers to what's going on and to realize now that all along, it looks like there were folks inside that family who knew she wasn't going to be found. There's almost a sense of betrayal to the community, really. I mean, nothing's more important than the young girl and the loss of life and what that means to her loved ones. But the community really rallied behind that family and for her to try to have a happy outcome here. And to know that all along there were folks inside that family that looks like knew that this wasn't going to end well is just, I mean, that's more dishonesty, I think, than a lot of people could wrap their brains around. So it's a heartbreaking day. Look, I'm not a I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not a judge. And I want the process to play itself out fairly, make sure everyone gets their day in court. But whomever was responsible for this, I hope they throw the book at them.
It's a message that so many people across Toledo are feeling tonight, and a message heard loud and clear from Kei'Mani's family. Here's WTOL 11's live team coverage from the news at 6, Monday, March 24th.
My daughter, there's no reason my daughter would ever be over here.
Today make a week, she's been gone. And this is not right. We just want to get her home. Praying for the best, but of course, always prepare for the worst.
That was the family of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. She's been missing for several days now. Earlier today, Toledo police discovered a body inside of a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. Police have yet to confirm it was her body, but according to the girl's grandmother, Kei'Mani Latigue's body was found. Jeff?
As we continue to track this story throughout the day, WTOL 11 has also learned that the father of Kei'Mani has been charged. His name is Darrell Jones. An arrest warrant has been issued for his arrest. Tonight, we have got live team coverage on this breaking news story. Silver Barker and Michael Sandlin have been looking into this story all day long. Silver joins us live from the home on Miami Street where that body was found. And Michael is looking into the case surrounding Kei'Mani's death. But we'll get to Silver first. Silver?
Yeah, well, Jeff, right here on Miami Street, there were a lot of people here earlier today trying to figure out what is happening as they were hearing the news that we were hearing of a body being found in this home. By the way, we know it's burned, but however, police tell us that it was burned before the body was found there, or was before this incident. We were here as well, of course, here on the scene earlier today, waiting for information. We're still waiting for some information now. Now, while we have not been able to confirm with police whether this was Kei'Mani's body, it was taken out of the house and sent to the coroners. Kei'Mani's mother, Tiara Caston, who was here on the scene, also was either shown something by police or had a conversation, which we believe was to confirm whether the body was her daughter's. Moments after the conversation or whatever was shown from police, we then see Caston drop to her knees, crying. But as mentioned earlier, we have not been able to confirm whether this was Kei'Mani they found. We spoke to a cousin of Kei'Mani's prior to police finding the body, and she tells us this.
I don't want to go to assumptions, but at this point, I feel like we're looking for a body and not a teenage little girl anymore.
Now, we do know that this is still an ongoing investigation, so there are more parts we're waiting to figure out and find out, which of course we will keep you guys updated as we learn more. Reporting live in East Toledo, Silver Barker, WTOL 11.
Our team coverage continues. The one person wanted for Kei'Mani's abduction is her father, Darrell Jones. And according to police records, he was last seen taking Kei'Mani from her guardian's home without consent, possibly making him the last person to have seen her alive. Michael Sandlin, he's got more on the charges surrounding Jones, his background as well. Michael, how is Kei'Mani's family reacting to the news of Jones's possible involvement?
Jeff, we caught up with Kei'Mani's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, and she says the feeling right now is betrayal. Now, we did some digging into Jones's past, and he does have quite the record. Now, looking back, we can see that he had previous charges for domestic violence, specifically an endangering children charge back in 2021. However, those charges were dismissed. He also had a felonious assault charge from 2017 that resulted in the victim being seriously harmed, and he was indicted on that one. Kei'Mani's grandmother says this feels like a betrayal because despite his record, she truly thought Jones had stepped up to be a father for her, despite not even being her biological dad.
It was told to me that he was her biological father. However, her biological mother has told me on several occasions that he is not. So I don't know what to believe, but I know that he was present. He's been more present than the biological mom. And I feel deceived. Like, you played for so long in my face like you was her dad, like you really had her best interests at heart. But where is she?
However, However, it's very important to note that we caught up with Kei'Mani's mother earlier today, and she says that the grandmother is telling a completely different story from the truth. So we're going to continue digging into the details, and we'll bring you the latest as soon as we can. But for now, reporting in downtown Toledo, I'm Michael Sandlin for WTOL 11.
Also, late on Monday night, a vigil gathered at the site of where the body was found. More on that throughout the day here on WTOL 11 Plus. Family, friends, and loved ones came together, as we said, to remember the life that was left behind.
And again, since our 6 p.m. newscast, we did speak with the Lucas County Coroner's Office. An investigator there confirmed the identity of the body brought in from that East Toledo home today as 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue.
And you can continue to track the latest developments in this ongoing investigation right here on WTOL 11 Plus, or you can follow us simply on social media.
You can check out our WTOL 11 social media pages on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook by scanning that QR code that's on your screen. Thanks for joining us here on WTOL 11 Plus. For Jeff Smith and
Wow, that's another sad situation. That's another sad situation. This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm gonna do some more digging to see exactly, like, what's the deal. Like, what's the deal with that? Hold up a minute. Yeah, but this is sad. This is really, really sad. And this damn shit now done turned the damn pandemic. Y'all, I mean, I wonder, do they have any programs in that region where like you have some parents who and let me scratch that. Let me dial it back. You have programs where the parents are only placed on those programs because, like, maybe through like they got in trouble for neglecting their kid, or they the hospital, they brought the kid to the hospital noticed something that way, or some kind of interaction with the social worker, and the social worker maybe recommended those programs, whatever. I don't know if that region has programs where just advertise a number, or email, or something, that if you feel that you need assistance with setting up a parental structure, you need some aid in helping to raise you understand, something like, not raise them, but give them information on how to properly raise them, how to keep them safe, how to care for them. If you need additional assistance with caring for them, whether it be food, shelter, or what have you. Because it's a lot going on in that region. I know it's a lot going on in Florida. I'm not going to, because I shared some of what I have found within the past couple of years. But this is terrible. And the kids are dying in such violent ways, and I hate to say it, but sexual abuse is always, not always, but it's usually a part of the reasons why these children are no longer here. And that's so sad. That is so sad. We got to do better than this. This is crazy. But this little girl, for somehow she is just sticking out to me. Like, who is this guy? Is that the dad or isn't it? I'm like, what's going on? Like, and it, was that guy determined to be the dad because he had a DNA test or something like that? She looks like him, but he also looks like he may suffer from some, some mental health issues, right? We got to find that. This is crazy. I be having too much going on, and I swear, Monday, that's why I'm trying to do some things to, oh my gosh, so I can finally retire fully. I had to slow up on that word because I don't ever think I'll retire fully. When I say retire fully, I mean when it comes to working for somebody. I don't think I'll ever stop doing something to make money or to be involved in something because that's just not how I am. That's not how I was raised. And I still like to have some fun. And I had to think about something, right? Being in your 50s means that you will approach 60 at some point. Lord God willing, honey. And some of the things I was mapping out, planning, budgeting, and doing all that type of stuff for, I'm like, and you too old for this shit. Then I thought about it. Am I really? If my mind doesn't match my age, I mean, am I really? And you can always, I got enough people that you can always leave stuff to. But I'm like, am I really? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I thank the Lord. Hold on for a minute. But I just think that I don't care what age you are, we have to get out of the mindset that we can only do what society has deemed to be age appropriate shit, like they like at 65, and they done pushed out what the 60. What is the retirement age now? I don't know. One thing I don't never know: the minimum wage and retirement age. I don't never know those two things, right? But if they pushed it out to 70, I think, then shit, that means that they have more. That means that shit, we got some time to do some things. Like, what is age appropriate? Like, what does that mean? But I'm like, no, maybe I'm too old to do that. I'm like, man, fuck that. If I can plan it out, support it, most important, involve friends and family, do stuff like that, child, please. Mm-hmm. That's crazy though. We can't uh wait a minute, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. So anyway, about that. What I was saying is this. Um, if anything you want to do, I guess you gotta get rid of that fear. I mean, or whatever it is that's blocking you or that's holding you, right? You just gotta get rid of it. And you just got to jump out there and try, right? And in the past, right, I have been able to hide behind others, right? Because here's the thing, right? With some shit you do when you get into it, whatever, you have other people who are just as interested or more, or maybe it's their plan or program or something like that, or whatever. Or if you have a plan or program they're so interested in and whatever, they'll pretty much do the out front work, whatever the work that you know they know that you are too afraid to do or whatever, and they can do it just as good because they have the interest in it as well, right? All you know is making sure this shit is lined up. This shit works out perfect. Oh, I'm saying, oh my! If I can just go get Universal Florida out that ground, baby. He is clicking. He was clicking on all cylinders, right? Only thing he probably lacked would be politics, anything in the area of politics, and let me see, because we stick our toe in there with it all, everything. And any type of a long term investment or whatever, anything that you gotta watch over 60 days, right? Anything like you're gonna like date it. I'm thinking all of that. But anyway, what is that? Oh,
Hey, Angie. Hello.
I'm here.
Yeah. Hey, Angie.
Hey, how you doing?
I thought that guy died a long time ago, man.
Oh
Sheesh.
no,
You know
well,
what? I thought I wouldn't have to hear the last of this idiot. You know, I didn't know he was going back to court. He's going to represent himself on appeal. I'm not watching it. It's going to be like the last time. You know,
that's why
I
we're watching.
judge, that lady judge, I give her credit for putting up with his baloney during the first trial.
Right.
You know what? To anybody that's in prison there, if you see him as a, if you want, if you need professional help and you have this dude as your lawyer, good luck. He ought to be
Yeah.
start dropping soap. I thought he was still dropping soap. Take
He
that
he
soap.
is. He is. I mean, but he just he's going through his post conviction relief
Yeah.
portion. So we're gonna see. We're gonna at least hear about him for for some years.
Man, I thought the guy died a long time ago, and I saw that in back in court. You know what? I give that judge a whole lot of credit for putting up with him in the first trial because she couldn't stand his mess and sent him back to another. It didn't go well in his first trial. What makes you think it's going to happen when he gets an appeal? It's going to be the same doggone thing. You know,
Well, the type
I
of
thought
person he
somebody
is.
had him over in prison already. Dad.
Mm-mm.
He's a determined dude. I give that for him, but that's all I give him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You been good?
Huh?
You been good?
Yeah, I went to my gynecologist when that surgery happened in December, and he said it looks good, but he wants to see me again in 6 months, so I'll do it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And next month will be my birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll be 59. Uh,
59. Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
feel
Huh?
do you feel 59?
No,
Oh, okay.
I feel like I'm 40, but I can't.
Okay.
Well, I still want. I wish if my husband was still here, I'd celebrate. He'd celebrate it with me, you know. But that's neither here nor there. But hey, Darrell Brooks, if I was you, just just go inside the shower, okay? Now, when you get in that shower, you have to stand. You have to put your back against the wall, okay, for your own safety, because you're in there with a bunch of guys who will have you as a dish rag. Now, in order for you to start dropping soap, you're gonna have to do that. Drop soap every single day. But they're gonna eyeball you if you have your back turned against that wall. Because if you have your back turned, they're gonna have their way with you if they haven't already.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh Lord.
Yeah. Man, what a dork.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
I thought we didn't have to hear the last of him.
No.
I hope I get my channel back up and I'll probably talk about it right now.
What happened to your
Right now.
channel?
Due to copyright, you know.
Oh, they gave you
'Cause
strikes?
I don't know. I guess maybe they did, but hopefully I'll come back on, you know. But I could always use Restream. But you know, he's an idiot. I hope he freaking dies, and you know, that's how I feels about it. Yeah, especially there was another case, that woman who left her 11-year-old son, who's now 32, in prisoner in his own house, and he started a fire. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got that. What was that? Because I know I shared that. What state was that in?
I think Connecticut.
Okay.
No, this reminds me of the Collingswood boys in New Jersey. The three brothers that were starved by the adopted parents, Vanessa Jackson and her husband, and
Uh-huh.
they ate windowsill. Uh, Bruce got out, but they thought he was like 11 years old, but he turned out to be 17. He was emaciated. All the boys were, and you know, and Vanessa got out. You know, and the three boys, the two of the boys got adopted by good people. Bruce is still by himself, you know, and I remember that case. It was back in 2003. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I remember that. But you know, it's just a darn shame that we have to hear him again. He's not gonna do nothing on his appeal. He's just gonna the appeal takes years.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gonna
Well,
get any.
I think I got to see it. I was in the beginning. I was in the kitchen, so I don't know if he was in there on a habeas. Must be on a habeas or something, or it could be a post. It could be his post conviction motion.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one it is. If it's a post conviction motion, it would be for an acquittal and a new trial, because um once you motion for an acquittal, you have to do one for a new trial at the same time. So um, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. He should have just came to dust. That's all. Well, you know, and then we got QPD coming up in May, so we'll see how that goes. And
Right, right. Oh, it's so many. I got to get stuff straight so I can have
I'm
my
gonna
schedule.
You should have kept it shut. Never wrote a book. Never went on interviews and said you was there. And the lawyer said, I read a couple of months ago that all the people that was in the car that day, they're all dead, except for Suge Knight. And people asked Suge Knight, "You going to testify?" He says, "Heck no, he ain't going to do nothing." So we'll see what goes with that. But thank you for having me up here, Angie, man. And
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know, yeah. And before I go, in the famous words of Captain Murdoch of Lethal Weapon, I'm getting too old for this shit. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
that's the truth. Yeah. Well, if you're ever on my show, I'll invite you to Hammer Nation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Peace, y'all.
All right. Peace out. So, oh my gosh. I didn't get it in gear, y'all. What I was saying, I was saying that there are areas where other people, they just pick up the ball and just run with it and bam, 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 knock it out, right? And then there are people that specialize in one area and what have you. Oh my gosh. And there are people that specialize in recruitment. What I told you. Well, oh, see, I didn't play this part yet because I did a drop early. But then I got somebody in on the drop and I got to edit out some things. Damn, I'm lying. I'm trying to tell you. I got to edit out some things, right? But I'm going to draw because it's very interesting, and I think that content is so funny, and I like being create. I'm not a creative person, like like in an artsy way. You know how you have people that specialize, and I call it specializes in liberal arts, but they can draw or they can conceptualize something. They can bring shit to life. Whatever. That's not me. That's not me, right? However, I am creative in other ways, right? And that's why I excel. Not in the artsy way. I can tell you how I want it to look. I can visualize it. I can put a look together. Okay. But, oh my gosh. You have people that just, now that credit card man is kicking in all cylinders, in all areas, politics, sports, finance, you name it. Okay, he 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 can handle it. Okay, he can handle it. Um, didn't I say that? I'll put it like this, and you have and like all the stuff you get into or whatever isn't isn't um isn't necessary. It's not illegal, but it's more on the street end of things or whatever. Mm-hmm.
I am so
excited. Shit. That's something fucked up. It's on the street end of thing. And the reason why I call it street, not because it's illegal, I call it street because it doesn't really have a structured business format to some things you just come across in the streets. I don't know how else to say it. There's some shit just come across in the streets. And when you have street friends, they come across shit in the streets. That's all I can tell you. It's mm, 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 mm. But I tell you, we done had a good time. When I tell you, I've been out had me a good time, a good one. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. Fuck a crab legs, crabs. You just had crabs, just because you have a lot of people. You can kind of fill them in, fill in the people that will grab them blue crabs. You got people that still like them blue crabs, whatever. I'll take a crab or two because I like the little stuff inside the crab. But if I do them crab legs, like those get together, those parties and shit like that cost. Mm. And baby, when you got, I don't know how them people getting all that Tyson's chicken up out of there. I don't know what's going on or whatever. All I know is $25 for a case. Is that what they sell their cases for? Wherever, and I think the employees say that they'll let you buy buy they let the employees buy for $25. Let me tell you, when I talk to Travis again, I ask him if he remember the prices of the Marita bread and stuff like that. Like the bread, the employees got the bread, um, and shit like that for a discount. That shit was so cheap. I'm asking how much it was. If you know somebody that worked for Coach, if anybody still wears Coach, I'll still wear Coach. I got a bunch of bad Coach bags still with the price tag. It goes with some little active wear that's cute, right? Now if you get hold to a Coach employee, and if they still do that employee purchase program, I'm here to tell you, don't find one of them Coach outlets or when Coach having a sale. Child Shibuya, you come, I mean, it's like pocketbooks and shit and briefcase and stuff like that, like for $400 and $500. You getting it for like $100. Come on now. A Nike, oh my God, a Nike sales, an Adidas salesperson. Please stop playing with me. I can't even wear all that shit no more. It's too big. Them people will give you shit for free. Please tell me I'm goddamn lying. Just tell me. You know, if I get to connect on the phone, that's what I told you. I said I haven't played that yet. I made the little drop, but I can't play because I got to clean it up. But your contact list is very important. Your contact list pretty much defines, no, scratch that. It aids in defining who you are, your contact list. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. You know, you have people that run their mouth and all that shit or whatever, check that contact list out. And you don't necessarily have to physically check it by going through their phones and stuff like that. No. They'll reveal their contact list to you. And that's how you know what you got and who you have. Now, those that are concerned with dealing with a nobody or nothing, you should you should inquire about those things early on. I'm delusional now because I'm sleeping, but I'm telling you true facts. If I do a regular person again, like it has to be like Adrian. Adrian really a regular person because he's a hometown hero. So he's not really a regular person. He's just not from here, But he's a 3-sport athlete, amongst other stuff. It has to be like Adrian or something like that. And you really, if you try to go out of your out of your league or whatever, whether they higher than you or lower, whatever. I mean, if you want to try to go out to the league, whatever, it causes problems. Oh my gosh. So, the jealousy, honey, it's just ridiculous. It's just unreal. I don't know what the fuck just went on. Well, I'm telling you now, I'm so scared to talk to people that ain't in the same vicinity, baby. Mm-mm. 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 Mm. Mm-mm. Baby, you come and tell you. The people on them social structures, they move a certain way. It's some shit they just don't do. Like I said, ain't a gangster on the internet. I didn't make that up. That's an observation. All of them do the same. They move the same. They again, damn, I ain't put the drop out. Yeah, but they're interested in the same type of woman, same type of man. They run with the same type of people, whatever. That is what it is. Just like motorcycle club, people deal with motorcycle club people. They talk that motorcycle talk and shit like that. We don't know what the hell they be talking about. This is true facts, right? And listen, you don't. I don't know. And another thing, right? When I'm talking about stuff like this or saying things, the people we on the same level, they don't get offended thinking I'm calling people names and all that type of shit, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's true. It's not mean to offend, it's just what it is. I didn't create the shit. I didn't create the game. I just follow the rules, honey. I follow the rules. That's all I do. That's all I do. Follow the rules. And when you get enough skin in the game, you can kind of make some of the rules. Yes, sir. Anyway, let me get off here. Y'all be saying, I be calling people names and name calling. And everybody want to pay attention to my name calling, but when somebody call me names, crickets. Nobody want to hear shit. Nobody wants to hear that. Or if you responding to somebody calling you a name. Sure, let me go here before I get in trouble. But anyway, hey y'all, make sure y'all do something good for yourself or somebody else. Make today a good day, make tomorrow a better day. And guess what? I'm out of here, and so